All right. Should be live. Are we live? We are live. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream, everybody. My name is Evan Freiberger. Hopefully all is doing well. We have our first severe weather warning of today. That's going to be out over here near Jasper, Harrison, for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And yeah, let's go over something really quick. We did have a little bit of an upgrade. Oh, can't really see it too well there. All right, let's go over to Radar Mega. And hold on one second. We'll turn on the models as well, and then we'll clear that out using total snowfall, because there shouldn't be any snow. But yeah, as you can see, we do have a orange dot. Really hard to explain it as anything else other than a dot. Very small enhanced risk, but this, although lacking in size, is not lacking in potency. Let's come over and check out why it's an enhanced risk, and this is why. Or at least the main reason and why I am concerned. As you can see, we do have our first strong tornado risk, and man, it's been a while since we've had a strong tornado risk. But yeah, that's gonna be over here into parts of Arkansas, kind of in the northwestern corner of Arkansas, in the eastern, a little bit of an eastern portion there of Oklahoma, with a 5% around that, extending all the way from Tulsa into Conway, Russellville, and Mountain Home as well, with a 2% that actually extends all the way just north of Dallas, Texas, all the way into Pine Bluff, Memphis, Tennessee, Jonesboro, Springfield, and Joplin, Missouri. Those are the areas where NATOs could happen, but general severe weather could happen all the way from Lubbock, all the way to Dallas, Shreveport, Jackson, Nashville, also over there near to Murray, Cape Girardeau, and Springfield there. So a lot of folks need to be watching out for severe weather out there into Arkansas. Okay, let's go over here and switch over to our tornado risk, and then just do a little bit of a forecast. But before we do, let me go look at chat. Only includes like 10 counties. Yeah, it's a very small, strong tornado risk. Tornadoes are never good. They are indeed never good. I agree with that. It's been a while since we've checked in. Well, it's been a while since we've been live, so makes sense. Makes sense. You click so fast. Well, welcome. Watching the upper clouds go east. The lower ones are going westish near Mountain Home. Oh yeah, so you're seeing that spin in the atmosphere, which we will talk about here too. So yeah, so this is our future radar, and we are expecting storms to be getting started any moment. And that the storms that we're actually seeing develop back over here, kind of north and east of Tahlequah, could be the very beginning of our severe weather threat. And basically what we have is a little bit of a boundary that is set up right up in this area right here. And in that area, the spin is going to be increased. So if we do get some storms that fire and latch onto this boundary, we could definitely see an increased risk for tornadoes, including the chance for some strong ones. So we got to watch out for that potential. Let's come back down over here to our significant tornado parameter. You can see that it will be building throughout the day. And then once that little, oh, dang, that's so loud. Let me turn this down just a tad. At least in my ear. Maybe we got a flash flood warning in Boone County, Arkansas. Flash flood warnings caused by thunderstorms out there. So watch out. We do have a pocket here of flash flood warnings, really all the way from Neosho, Monette, Bentonville, Green Forest, and Harrison. But yeah, essentially, you can kind of see that boundary here on our significant tornado parameter right here in this area. That is the boundary in which we are going to be monitoring pretty much all day. Any storms that fire and that can ride that boundary will have that capability of a strong tornado. And if one can ride it for a while, we could even have the potential for a long track tornado today. But a lot of that depends on a lot of little factors that all kind of have to come into place just right today. Let's come back over to here. I do want to show you guys the kind of the conditions and how they are right now across the area. As you can see, we do have a little bit of a surface trough back over here into Oklahoma. And we got that air moving from the south to the north here into Arkansas. And you can actually kind of see the outflow boundary here. You can see we got these little wind barbs moving up to the north. And these ones up here in northern Arkansas are moving in a different direction. And in fact, actually, it might be easier. We can actually, I think, see that boundary using Radar Omega. Yeah, look at this. So these little red little dots here. Let me clear out the severe weather risk really quick. That. Okay. So yeah, these little red dots, these little guys right here, that is indicating winds that are coming out of the south, going up to the north. And these bluish dots here in this area are winds that are moving from the north down to the south. Pretty much looks like Stillwell. Any storm that fires around Stillwell, like say like we get a storm that fires here and then latches onto the boundary that is near Stillwell, that is going to be the chance for the strongest tornado that we can get. Most of the storms that are going to be north of this boundary, that is basically, as far as I can tell, pretty much right up in here. Any storm that fires north of this boundary is going to be an elevated cell, likely with the potential for some damaging winds and some hail, but the tornado threat should be basically zero as long as these storms stay north of that boundary. Having surface winds going from the north down to the south aren't super favorable. It's not impossible. If we do get a strong shear environment that kind of brushes over this area, we could see maybe a brief tornado up there. But again, most of our tornado risk will actually be to the south and in and along this boundary here. So that's the main thing that we're going to be watching today, is where that boundary is once storms get fired, and then which ones latch on. Because again, these little boundaries, this little outflow boundary is going to have an increased area of spin along it, and when a storm latches onto that, it just kind of helps the storm a lot more in terms of producing a tornado. So really the areas that I'm most concerned about are going to be really anywhere from like Alma through the Ozark, and then over here to like Russellville along where that boundary is, and then also near Stillwell as well. So that's what we're watching out for. We do have storms starting to fire and build close to this boundary, and we actually have a storm that's already exhibiting what appears to be some rotation near Farmington. So got to keep an eye on that guy. Not sure if that's legitimate. We do have an area right there. Yeah, there's your mesocyclone. I think this is side lobe. As far as I can tell, that looks like side lobe right there. This would be the mesocyclone a little bit further to the south, just south of Farmington, heading towards Greenland. But something to keep an eye on. That might get a severe thunderstorm warning, or maybe even a tornado warning, just a precautionary tornado warning. But as far as I can tell by our mesoscale analysis, that storm should be north of the boundary. But one of the things that we don't have, we kind of have data missing here. We have these little arrows pointing up to the north here, but we don't have any arrows in between Tahlequah and Elkins. So that boundary really could be anywhere in between Salisaw and Tahlequah and Elkins. So if the boundary is literally like, say, if we had like a meso station here indicating that we had winds coming up to the north right there, or maybe even something like this, that would indicate that our boundary would be further north. So again, a little bit of uncertainty on where that boundary is. Could be really anywhere in between these two areas. So maybe this storm up here could become our first potential strong tornado of the day. That something to keep an eye on over there near Fayetteville. One thing that we can do, I do want to do this really quick. Let's come over to this camera. It'd be this one. Yeah. And then let me see if we can get a camera near that storm that does have a little bit of rotation trying to develop, because it's just south of Farmington. Where is Farmington? There's Farmington, just south. Maybe like one of these cameras. Yeah, this camera might eventually get a pretty good look at that storm, and that might be it off in the distance. Let me just check another camera in the area. I love Arkansas cameras. You don't have to refresh them. They don't drive you crazy. Here's a little bit further into the storm, probably closer to where that side lobe contamination is. Not really seeing anything too interesting on that one. So we'll stick with this one a little bit further to the south and see if we can see any of those features kind of roll in here. But I'm actually noticing on radar, I think I'm actually starting to see the boundary on radar. It does seem to be a little bit north of Stillwell. So I think this is the boundary right here. The outflow boundary appears to be right here in this area, just south of our storm. So our storm is north of that outflow boundary. So this should remain an elevated hailer. And I'm still going to keep an eye on it just in case. But yeah, that is, I think our boundary is just north of Stillwell there, as far as I can tell on radar. So say like one of these storms form near Prairie Grove or near Lincoln and wrap into that boundary, that's when we're going to get really concerned. Also, this one might be kind of maybe the northern extent of our boundary is pretty close to this storm here. So still might have to watch this storm for some tornadic activity. Let's come back over to our cam and I'll try to answer some questions in chat. Scary clouds. It's a little bit dark out there. I don't see anything that looks overly scary. Yeah, no problem, Dallas. Carthage, Missouri. Welcome, welcome. Haven't had folks from Arkansas or Missouri in chat in a while. Hey, thank you, Wendy, for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, and thank you, Regina, for being a member for 29 months. Basically family, right? True. Y'all should all come to Northern Alabama for my birthday. We're gonna go watch Reed Timmer. He's doing a show on my birthday in a city that is 20 miles away from me. You have a question? What's up? What's up? What's up? What do I think about the outlook for Taney County, Missouri? Missouri should be in the northern portion, like north of the boundary. So I'm really not expecting too much tornadic activity to actually make it into Missouri itself. But we'll keep an eye on it. That boundary could move around. Generally, though, let's come back over to here. I do want to like break down the atmosphere a little bit more for you guys. We kind of got interrupted. So yeah, our 500 millibar winds are flowing through the area. Also our 300 millibar winds, which is really the things that causes our forcing these purple lines. That's pretty much where our thunderstorm should be developing, and you can see that that is where they're developing. Would you worry about 94L? I would definitely be keeping an eye on it, tabletop. Will the system start to lose its power once it reaches Georgia? Yeah, it should. It definitely should. But we'll keep an eye. Maybe we get some changes in the forecast. But yeah, so as you can see, our low level lapse rates have recovered quite a bit today, where you can actually see that boundary pretty well in our lower level lapse rates. That 6 line, this little green line right here, that would be close to where our boundary would be. So our updrafts are going to be plenty strong today, unfortunately. Not a whole lot of flies in the ointments right now, but our lower level winds are a little bit weaker than they were. Here was our last little update here, and then our most recent one, you can see those 30 knot winds have calmed down a little bit. But that's not going to be the only thing that's going to be dictating our tornado threat today. We are also going to have storm relative velocity, which basically just tells you how much spin is in the atmosphere, like turning through height, and the degree of which that is happening. And you can see that we actually have 300 storm relative velocity right along that boundary. So again, things could get interesting today. It could also be messy. You know, some of our models have been indicating we might see some, you know, some individualized or some supercells, isolated supercells, discrete supercells, you know, tons of different words for it, but basically big storms all by themselves. And if that happens near the boundary, then we could have some issues. But I still think technically that, you know, if these storms are more clustered and we have a little bit more of an outflowiness to the storm, like for instance, if it stays just like this all day, the tornado threat's still going to technically be there, but it's going to kind of struggle. And, you know, a lot of these storms up here are going to be more elevated storms. Again, really just depends on where that boundary is. And then you can see kind of here, right there on the velocities, that's where the boundary is sitting right now. We have storms that are elevated to the north of that. Gotta watch for that to sink down to the south. Little update here.
MCD has been issued for this location.
So we just got a new MCD. So let's go get the new information on that if I can. How would I go about doing that exactly? New flash flood warning for Madison County and Washington County, Arkansas. Radar indicated. Trying to figure out where's that map. I forget. All right, let me turn on the MCDs then. Should pop up. Yeah, there it is. All right, so here's our MCD. Peak tornado intensity 120 to 150 miles per hour. Peak wind gust 55 to 70 miles per hour, and peak hail size 1.5 to 2.5 inch. So we're talking about some pretty large hail possible today as well. So a lot of things can go wrong today. There is also, you know, always going to be that capability, especially with these events that are kind of just teetering on the line. of things not really going as forecasted. And, you know, this could be a bust day. This is one of those days that could either be a boom or kind of bust day, just really depending on where these storms sets up and where that boundary sets up. Yeah, we should get a watch here shortly. I've been waiting for this MCD all day, but I don't see it. They haven't posted anything on Twitter yet. Usually they post something on Twitter, so I'm still waiting for that to come through. That's usually a little bit more of a easier to understand graphic. Trey's live discussion he did a live discussion. That's pretty cool. He said a watch will be needed by 20 to 21Z. Gotcha. So that'd be soon. The time it hits Russellville, will it be at its peak? Russellville. Where's Russellville? Yeah, Russellville's in like one of those areas. Let's come back over to here. Make sure I keep at least the tornado threat up on radar Omega. Yeah, Russellville is just outside of the strong tornado threat. Because by the time the storms get there to you, they are going to be running out of that daytime heating, and the environment might get a little bit outflowy by then. So storms might struggle. But, you know, in terms of timing, we are going to have some thunderstorms and maybe even some severe weather up there in Missouri early on. Should see these storms fire kind of like where they are firing right now. So they might be firing a little bit early. And then, yeah, generally we're going to have a lot of supercells try to develop, maybe too many. You see, there's a lot of clustering with some of these, but also there is some isolated, like by around 4 p.m. I think it's going to be a little bit earlier than that. You know, we could have some cells develop with some tornadic potential, but again, that's right near that boundary. So those kind of look like storms that are either going to be north or south of that boundary. And then over here near Fort Smith by 6 p.m. I still think that's going to be a little bit earlier than that. We could have some storms fire over there as well. Those are my current thought processes. Right now, timing is really anywhere from now until later. Just really depends on when these storms try to fire and get their act together. I'm really good at this. I appreciate that. Thank you. They're watching North Texas close based off of MCD. Yeah, North Texas is going to have to watch out for some severe weather. I don't think you guys are going to be getting any strong tornadic weather, and the tornado threat should be relatively low for North Texas. Oh, he didn't have time to make a video, so he just went live? That's awesome. I wish I would have got a notification for that. Yeah, 95% chance of a watch. Let me see if they've posted it. There it is. Okay. So here's the latest MCD or the mesoscale discussion here from the National Weather Service, or actually the Storm Prediction Center. Severe thunderstorms expected by mid to late afternoon. One or more severe thunderstorms / tornado watch is likely by 20 through 21Z, which should be shortly. I mean, that's like, I think in an hour or so. Greatest tornado risk is going to be in this hatched area. You can see they are also putting that boundary pretty close to the storms right now, and we can see that on radar. So really, any of these storms, if they can mature and latch onto that boundary, we could start to see that tornado threat get started even within the next 30 minutes or earlier. Tornado peak intensity 120 miles per hour to 150 miles per hour. That just goes to show that we could get strong tornadoes today. Hail 1.5 to 2.5 inch hail is expected, and also wind 55 to 70 mile per hour winds. So be weather aware out there. I don't think the tornado risk is going to be as intense further down into this into southern Oklahoma. I really do believe most of our kinematics that support tornadic activity are going to be mainly up here into northwestern Arkansas and Oklahoma. I'd be very surprised if we got a tornado warning down into parts of Texas, but there is a little bit of a chance, a small one, but a little bit of a chance. We get some rain in North Cal? Yeah, sure. I'll talk to my buddies who control the weather. Thank you for doing what you do. Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for tuning in. Timing. Really anywhere now until later. I mean, it really just depends. I mean, if you're talking about just like storms in general, I think our latest HRRR run is okay at that. I do think it's a little late. But yeah, we could get the tornadic storms really anywhere from now Really, it should be mainly up here near like the Fayetteville and Fort Smith until we get to about late night at around like 6 to 9 p.m. Could have storms near Conway, Little Rock, and Hot Springs. If it goes exactly like this, we could see storms over there near Little Rock by around, say, anywhere between 10 and 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. Out there. So Little Rock's going to be a little bit later, mainly a damaging wind threat over there. But the main threat for tornadoes back up here should get started anytime between now and about 4 p.m. Really depends on how the storms do their thing. What do we think about Fayetteville? I think Fayetteville needs to be aware here in the short term. We do have supercells that are forming near our boundary. Our boundary appears to be right here. These are a little bit north of the boundary right now, so still staying relatively elevated. But we're still keeping a close eye. Farmington, Fayetteville all need to be watching these guys just for the time being. They should pass, and then we should get some more storm chances as these storms back over here in Oklahoma try to develop as well. There should be multiple rounds. So I wouldn't let your guard down even when this rain stops. What was I going to do? Let's come back over to our cameras. We're also going to have Tornado Pagey is not going to be live today. So we're probably not going to see any tornadoes. I'm just kidding. But yeah, Tornado Pagey's not going to be live today. But Storm and Our Media is going to be live. And we're also going to have Carmen Palermo. Trying to see if I can find another camera with a view on one of these storms. Man, it seems so rainy out there. Greenland. Okay, Greenland's in rain. West Fork, maybe near Pumpkin Corner. Ooh. Interesting. It might be too far south. That's right here is right where the outflow boundary would be. So maybe we should just keep this camera here, because if something ends up happening, it's going to happen near this camera. At least with this first round. What about Connecticut? I'm not really worried about Connecticut. There is some severe weather chances, I think, up there, though. Or close to Connecticut. Let me just double check on that. See if they still got that up there. Yeah. So close to Connecticut, but not into Connecticut. But some thunderstorms could be possible for western Connecticut. But I'm not really expecting anything severe for Connecticut. Those clouds are moving. Yeah, they really are. This is an indication of those lower level winds. Actually, they're not really moving that fast. I love Arkansas cameras because you don't have to constantly refresh them or change the size of them based on which camera you're using. So you can just kind of leave them up. Very low stress cameras. Good to see you too, Daniel. Welcome in. Not ready for second severe weather. You'll be all right, Hannah. You guys are kind of in a good spot. You have a small tornado chance, and I know for you, any tornado chance is too big. Also, a little update. We did have an extension of our severe thunderstorm warning, and it has been upgraded to now 1.5-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. That is heading towards Jasper, Gilbert, and Marshall. You guys need to be indoors and away from windows. Hail's going to be loud with that storm. It's pretty there in Arkansas. Yeah, it is pretty. Although I will say it is terrible chaser terrain. Mountainous areas all over where our hatch risk is. I do want to see if there's any cameras near the severe thunderstorm warning. I don't think there are. Yeah. Our closest cameras to that guy is in Mountain Home. We're thinking Dixie's going Dixie. I don't think this is Dixie. Is Arkansas part? I thought Arkansas was technically called the Ozarks. I always get confused on which one's which. Tornado we had in Utah a few days ago was rated EF2. Wow. I think he helped for becoming a WIMD member. That's how you know help is not a bot. AR is Dixie. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, will Dixie today? I don't know. When it comes to early severe weather season, I would say a classic Dixie move would be this event busting and nothing happening. That like happens a lot in early season. We get these hatched risk, tornado risks, and then nothing happens. But today doesn't really seem like one of those days. It definitely seems like there's a lot of little things that a lot more things going for this to do something than not. But, you know, I would give it like a 60-40. 60, it doesn't bust. 40, it busts. Yeah, I always call this area the Ozarks. Like Missouri, Arkansas. Really just mainly Missouri, Arkansas. As I think Iowa is part of the Midwest. And technically you got the Ohio Valley over here, the Great Lakes region. I call this Northeast. Call this the East Coast, Southeast, Southern Plains, Central Plains, Northern Plains, Pacific Northwest, West Coast, Four Corners, and Pacific Southwest. That's what I call. That's what I call folks. And I also call this Mexico. And this down here, the Gulf of Mexico as well. Luckily, we haven't had any drama on that this year. We haven't had any hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. I was expecting it to be a big deal. And I'd like make a forecast and like half of my comments would be like, oh my God, I cannot believe you just said Gulf of Mexico, you piece of twerp. Gotta have coffee with that cake. Yo. GFS had some spin in the Gulf recently. Now, GFS has been having spin in the Gulf for like all season now. Yeah, it looks like we are getting that classic elevated look to these cells up here. Maybe you could make an argument that that is rotation. It does seem a little bit contaminated though. Our outflow boundary is right here. Still to the south of those storms, so they still should technically be elevated. This one is pushing a little bit down to the south and east though. So maybe you could make an argument if it continues to do that, it might briefly try to latch onto that boundary. We might have to also watch this storm near Marshall. You're in Stringtown, Oklahoma. Looks like it's going to get popping in a little bit. Popping. What is this vernacular? I'm just kidding. I'm a millennial. That's where that word originated from. What did you say? Stringtown. Stringtown. I thought you said Springfield. I don't know why I thought that. Stringtown. Am I spelling that right? Oklahoma? There it is. Stringtown. I wouldn't necessarily say poppin'. Let me get that tornado threat back up. I guess you could see something. Where's Stringtown? Let me search it on Radar Mega. Stringtown, the town of the strings in Oklahoma. They don't have buildings, it's just strings. You guys are in the 2%. Actually, do y'all make cheese in Stringtown? That would be a lot more of an interesting story. And then y'all would be making string cheese. Do you make string in that town? They have to. If no one makes string in Stringtown, and I would suggest they change their name. You make ammo? What does that have to do with strings? What is an outflow boundary? So an outflow boundary is essentially an area of cooler air. You can just barely see it here on our map right here in this area. So basically we've had showers. Let me move this up a little bit. We've had showers and thunderstorms happening up here for quite a while. We actually have a couple of flash flood warnings up here because of that. And our outflow boundary, so basically an area of cooler air, has sunken down to the south. So basically any storm that's north in that cool air is not going to be tapping into that warm and moist air. So it's going to struggle to become tornadic. But if one of these storms can form and then latch onto this outflow boundary, I would say that is where our strongest potential for a strong tornado will be today. So That's what we're watching for right now. So far, most of our storms are just north of that outflow boundary, but you can see they're creeping real close to it. So we're keeping a very close eye on that potential. Will Dallas get bad damaging winds overnight? I wouldn't say bad. It just depends on what your threshold is. If you're scared of every little thunderstorm, then yeah, it'll seem bad. You know, if you've lived in Dallas for a while, then no. And thank you, Casey, for subscribing. Thank you so much. That reminds me. That reminds me to put it on subscriber only mode. I always forget to do that before stream. Where the two air masses collide. That's a good way to explain it. You know, it's full of AI generated slop, which is why I mentioned the joke. Common trend. What is? Sorry. All right. What was I going to do? I do want to continue to look for better views of our storms. Let me just double check to make sure none of my chasers are live. Yeah, Storm Hunter Media is going to be going live in 70 minutes. Jacob McMillan, we're also going to be using him today. He's going to go live in 10 minutes. Let's go. We'll have an actual storm chaser, a real life storm chaser live pretty soon. What else? We got the Arkansas cameras. Yeah, we'll have 3 storm chasers today. Let me move Jacob since he's going live before. When's Carmen going live? Where is Carmen? Wait, I lost Carmen. Let me find Carmen. What? Is Paigey chasing today? She has a thumbnail and stream up and everything. I thought she was in St. Louis. Okay, Paigey might also be chasing today. Okay, let me move. Sorry. Just gotta do some quick little things. So just be patient with me. Vibe to the music. If you can hear it. If you can't hear it, might be time for some hearing aids. There's a doctor appointment. She said that. Yeah, that's what I thought she said, but she has a stream scheduled for 3 p.m. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they forgot to cancel it. All right, so he goes there. That's where I want him. He starts soon. Hey, Lisa, welcome, welcome. Speaking of Lisa, I really thought Paigey Tornado was in St. Louis. I'm so confused. Did she do a new update? Let me read her post. They said they're going to try again tomorrow afternoon if we can make it after their. Oh, okay, so the appointment is today. And they're going to try to chase after the appointment. Okay, I misread the post. So yeah, Paige is going to. So we're going to have Paigey Tornado also today as well. Bryce may be flying solo. Oh, that could be possible. What is the outlook for Stillwell? Well, you guys need to be watching out. That outflow boundary is pretty much right near you. If any of these storms fire back over here, which is what we're expecting to happen eventually, you could have some strong tornado potential out over there. So I would definitely be weather aware there in Stillwell. It's not a guarantee. Storms could go north or south of you, but I would definitely be watching as soon as those thunderstorms start to fire around in your area. We'll be live pretty much all day covering this event. Doctor appointment, live coverage. She got a streamer appointment? No. Her thumbnail looks very weather-like, not doctor room-like. Do they live in Pennsylvania? No. I think they have a house in Pennsylvania, but they live on the road. I don't think they ever go home. How do you feel about South Haven? What state is that? Not deleting your sentences. I can see him, Helen. Oh, Carmen's live. Okay, let me get Carmen up. Carmen said he's live. Maybe he's looking at something. He's behind a school bus. Breaking news. Wait, oh, there it is. Breaking news. School bus. And that is all. Let's see what if he's talking about anything. I would say tornado chances should be lower in Missouri. You guys seem to be well north of that boundary, unless the boundary gets snuck up to the north. I would say it's not impossible. There could be some storms that fire later in the night that could move through.
I'm really busy.
Oh. Okay. Let me also get this set up here as well. As soon as he goes live, we can pull that up as well. What is preventing storm formation tomorrow in Tennessee? For now, kind of just like a messy system. Let me look at the latest models, see if anything has changed on that. We could still see some small changes that could lead to more of a tornado threat. Yeah, you get to see this boundary that moves through in the northern portion. See how messy the system is? Our low pressure system kind of weakens and then moves off to the north and east. Maybe some storms could fire like late night, but as you can see, there's just not a whole lot of forcing. Our trough is like way up here. But this look like some storms try to form over there near Jackson. Let me check out what these look like. Yeah, not a whole lot of lower level shear. So yeah, it's just a messy system going into tomorrow. So, you know, I would say if we do get a tornado risk, it's probably going to be very boundary oriented, and it'll probably be on the lower end. But I don't think we have a tornado risk for tomorrow unless they have changed something. Let me just check in on that. Yeah, no tornado risk for tomorrow. If there is going to be one, it's going to be pretty small, but it's just more of a disorganized system. The ingredients just really aren't lining up that great, as opposed to how it is today, where it seems like all the ingredients are lining up just right. So West Springfield, is that in you talking about Missouri? Let's go over the forecast for Missouri. It seems like we have a couple of folks in Missouri asking questions. You can see generally it's been pretty rainy up there, and your main tornado risk would come from this secondary line. But as you can see, as it approaches Springfield, it kind of falls apart. So there's not a whole lot in our forecast that's indicating too much of a tornado threat. If we come over and look at our kinematics for this line back up here, you see that that lower level shear is more off to you guys' south and east. So there might be a little bit of something up there. Let me come up to our significant tornado parameter. Yeah, not really showing too much of a robust signal up there. Let me just check the storm relative velocity. Yeah, you know, it's just not the best spot. You guys are going to be north of that boundary. There's going to be a lot of rain cooled air up there. Definitely could get some severe weather and maybe a small tornado chance as that nudges into some of that weaker shear. But again, it's not going to be super elevated. I think your main threat's going to be damaging winds for pretty much all of Missouri, as our boundary is pretty obviously set up like right over near Stillwell. Little update over here for our severe thunderstorm warning near Jasper. Still 1.5 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds moving down to the south and east towards Gilbert and Marshall. Please continue to be indoors and away from windows. Near Jasper, nah, there's not a whole lot there. If you come over to here, this is just a messy side lobe contaminated mess. This radar, I think, has a better view of our storm right now, and you can see that there's no agreement between our radars. And typically when you see that really bad looking contamination and you go over to another radar and you see none, typically that means there's just nothing there. Sumner County, Kansas now is a flood warning, so watch out. We don't need any tornadoes near Joplin. Yeah, we don't need any tornadoes near anybody. River flood warning. It's the same thing. It means water could be flooding soon. It means things could get big. The rivers could get big. It looks like Jacob's going to be going live soon. Oh, breaking news. McDonald's. Did y'all see that? Particularly dangerous McDonald's stomach situation if you go there.
It's my first live stream in about 5 weeks.
First live stream in 5 weeks. Well, welcome back, Cartman.
Hopefully we'll get some good storms. Got a little bit of road flooding here.
I have no idea where he is. I'm trying to figure that out. Oh yeah, that's definitely northern Arkansas trees there. And the grass on the right definitely seems like northern Arkansas grass. This could potentially be northern Arkansas, just based off of the trees and grass. And the poles, electrical poles. Yeah, I saw that, Den.
Where the school bus is going? It's been in front of me for a long time. At least like 30 minutes, actually.
Hey, kitten, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being a member for 4 months. Hello, hello. I'm having a good day. Thank you for asking. What is it? Thompson, Arkansas have a severe already. Let me see Thompson. Where is Thompson? I'll check that out for you. Thompson, Arkansas. Because you guys aren't really near any storms right now. That's why. Yeah, you can still see this outflow boundary is right in here. We still don't have any mature storms, but you can kind of see this is kind of wrapping up here. I can see a scenario where we get like a cold air rush out of this storm, kind of push into that boundary. One thing I've been meaning to do, I want to make this flash. How do you change the flash on the radar again? Oh, here we go. Let me see. Maybe it's like a little bit. Ooh. Can y'all see the flash better? I want it to be barely noticeable. I don't want it to be like annoying. But can you see like the radar is flashing? A little bit. Should be like the pinks. Oh, you can really tell on this storm. This kind of indicates what areas of the storm are the most dangerous. So if you see flashing near you, watch out. Looks like Jacob has gone live. Jacob Macmillan, listen in.
It's gonna be a big tornado day. I don't know why it wanted me to go this way.
He says it could be a big tornado day.
It wanted me to exit off the interstate here and then merge back on. It's fine. That's probably the worst way to go.
Yes, Gene.
Welcome in, Noodles. How are you doing?
Unless we get some of that
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
stronger lower level
Been
shear
a
to pick up. But
long
as of
time.
right now, our storms are mainly
Becky.
relying on
Hope
storm
you're
relative
having a
velocity,
good,
which will be greatest near the outflow boundary.
afternoon. All right.
He's in Oklahoma. He's near Tulsa.
I can't merge onto the road effectively.
Your ads are trying to sell you weight loss supplements. Listen. It's not my ads. It's YouTube's ads. YouTube is pulling all of that data from Google. Did you buy from McDonald's on Uber Eats recently? That could have been what triggered it. It doesn't really have much to do. I don't think they can track your weight, but I think they can track your habits. So if you get like a large or like a 2-liter soda, you might get weight loss ads. Not my ads though. I don't control those. But I met oh wait, it's Carmen. There he is. That's exactly how I look like when I don't shower. My hair, at least, all greasy. What was I saying? I totally forgot. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking to a media manager, someone that like that could help a business. You pay like $5,000 and they do this huge media campaign. You can even pay for like radio people to talk about your channel and all that kind of stuff. And I was just curious to see if it would be something I was interested in. Obviously, it's way too much money. I didn't hear the price until later, but before then, I mean, they can track where you're going because like companies can have pixels on their websites. They call them pixels, where you go to the website and then as soon as you click on anything, it can track you to at least like 1 or 2 extra websites after that. So those companies can get that data, sell it to other people. And then also when you're driving along the road, your phone, if it has Bluetooth on or Wi-Fi on, it's like bouncing that signal off of the Wi-Fi in your local area. And it can tell the distance between you and that other Wi-Fi signal or another Bluetooth signal. And all of that data also gets released. So there's definitely a possibility you could be not going into a McDonald's, but sitting in a McDonald's parking lot and they can send you an ad for weight loss. That could also happen. And as of right now, we mainly have outflow dominant windbag storms. This one over here is still pretty dangerous with that 1.5 inch hail, still pushing down towards Marshall, Arkansas. Will tomorrow get upgraded? I don't know. It seems pretty marginal. We might get a slight risk like back over here near Memphis. Maybe something a little bit further up to the north. Let me just double check tomorrow. I haven't really like broken it down fully yet. Yeah, we get this little shortwave to move through. Maybe some northeast shenanigans again. Let me see what our upper level winds are looking like. And you can see our trough back here ejects, really gets amplified there as we go into the next day, the day after tomorrow. But you can see all of our showers and thunderstorms are out in front of it. Instability is pretty lackluster going into the morning as well. Could recover. I'm just not really seeing anything today or tomorrow like super indicative of like anything. Let me look at our lower level winds. It's also going to be a weak and positively tilted trough, meaning we're not going to really have a whole lot of SRH out there. Maybe at 4 a.m. Not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow morning. Yeah, but there's no storms in that area. The lower level jet does pick up, but in a moment where there's not a whole lot of instability. Not really seeing much of a signal for anything super elevated. We might have some conditional threats, but nothing that's like going to be as bad as today, it seems, unless we get like a big upgrade. Our uptrend in the models. Wind shear, tornado chances. Yes. Yeah. So when you have a lot of lower level wind shear, so basically you're looking for a couple things, but you know, like say you have upper level winds going in this direction and lower level winds going in this direction. You have perpendicularity. You know, if the lower level winds are going in like this, then it would be parallel. But if you have that perpendicularity, which is more common in negatively tilted troughs than it is for like a trough that is like positively tilted, you know, which is like more like this. You tend to see those perpendicular winds more often, and also negatively tilted troughs usually have a stronger upper level ejection translation speed, which can just kind of bring all those ingredients together usually a lot easier than like a slower translation speed. Look, our first storm to fire on our boundary. Will it stay nearby it, or will it climb up to the north quickly like some of these other storms have? That is the question. Where does this boundary sets up? And do storms ever fire and latch onto it? Does it need to be? It doesn't need to be negatively tilted. We've seen tornado outbreaks in positively tilted troughs, but you know, you do need usually like a little short wave in there to kind of bring in some sort of surface feature, or like an MCS to bring in some sort of surface feature that does bring those winds a little bit more back at the surface, so that you do have, you know, actual turning with height, more perpendicularity. Figuring out the ad algorithms, yeah. Imagine like you did like a crime and you're just like watching TV and then the ad's like, you should turn yourself in. We're good in Joplin. I think Joplin's gonna be okay. These storms should stay to your south. Northwest Tulsa, or NWS Tulsa, Oklahoma is spanning the SPC for the Elkins storm. Elkins, Oklahoma. Let me see. Elkins, Oklahoma. Let's see an Elkins. Those are the only lines of storms today? No, there's going to be more. So there's going to be this storm, these storms here, fire initially, and then there's going to be more throughout the day. At least according to the latest HRRR, we should have these storms fire. They could have some tornadic potential, and then we'll have these storms by 4 p.m. That should be close to the peak of the tornado threat. Actually, let's come over here to 17Z. Yeah, we have these storms that could be tornadic, and then we have these storms by, you know, that could be tornadic. Really just depends on when they get started and where. That's the big question. That is the big question. We're expecting a tornado outbreak today. I would say it's in the realms of possibilities. Again, it's one of those events that's on a fine line. You know, if we never get any significant convection pop up and stick around this outflow boundary, we're not going to really see, you know, any strong tornadoes. I really do think today's tornado threat is really based on these storms firing and latching onto our boundary. Like what this storm is trying to do, it's a little bit immature, so it probably won't produce. But you know, we're looking for a storm like this. You can see our outflow boundary is here. This one's nearby, near Winslow. And that could happen at any point today, especially as long as we have storms firing near that boundary. So that's why I'm live already. It might not happen for a couple of hours, but hey, if it doesn't happen for a couple of hours, we'll just, you know, talk crap about our storm chasers. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But here's Jacob near Enola, Oklahoma. You see, the sun is starting to poke through there. I still have no idea where Carmen is, by the way. Let me listen in. Maybe he'll say his location. Maybe he's listening to me. Carmen, where are you? He doesn't appear to be listening. But no, but maybe he has a delay. Maybe he has a delay.
Don't plow in front of me. I saw that one coming.
Oh, he's just like me. I'm on the road, and usually when I'm on the road, I try to be like Nicolas Cage from that one movie where you can like tell the future. Like every time I see a car, I'm just like trying to predict where it's gonna go. And I feel like there's this one spot near my house where there's like this big bush and a sign like near the road, like an intersection, and it just looks like an area where someone would blow through a stop sign like directly into the side of my car. And so every single time I go past there, even though the speed limit's like 50, I go past there like 10 miles an hour. Okay, but I still think he's in Arkansas, just based off of the trees and grass, some of the wildlife we've seen. Where's Blondie? She might not have gotten the notification that I'm live. She'll probably pop in at some point. I wonder if we can see this storm on one of our cameras here. I'm trying to get a view of our outflow boundary. Wonder if that's it. I think it's a little bit too far north. Yeah, it's just south of West Fork where this camera is. So this must be our boundary right here. This is actually pretty close to that storm. I think that's the outflow right there. Might be our storm off to the left. Where is this looking? Oh, that's looking southbound. Yeah, if this camera is north of our storm, and this is looking to the south, then that would mean the storm would technically be to the left. So that might be the storm on the left side there. When is YouTube not doing that, Dave? You got the notification? That's good. It happens for some folks. Yeah, see, our storm is actually getting pretty big pretty quickly here. But you can see its general direction. It's going to take it north of that boundary pretty quickly. Our boundary's right here. Just barely see it. You can see it a little bit better on velocities. But yeah, you can see it's trying to kind of wrap in there. I think our camera's like right here. And we're like actually looking at this portion of the storm there. Just on the left side of our screen. Never get notifications from YouTube, just Discord. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys, if you see me live, or if you happen to come across one of my videos and you get really pissed off because you didn't get a notification, you should join our Discord. Because you will always get notifications on my Discord. Help, can you put the Discord link in chat? What is that little thing off in the distance? Look at that. A Scud NATO. A thing that looks like a NATO, but is not. We call those Scud NATOs. There's actually some more storms trying to fire here south of our boundary. I think our boundary is like right up in here. We do have storms trying to fire south of our boundary now. If they can get mature fast enough before they hit that boundary, that could be our first tornado threat of the day. But again, that is definitely stipulated on them getting organized before they go over that boundary. Once they go north of that boundary, they're going to become elevated windbag producers. A little bit of an update over here. We still have looks like they did downgrade this severe thunderstorm warning to 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's heading towards Marshall and Gilbert. The flashing on the screen is most likely where the hail is, so if you're anywhere near that, make sure you are continuing to be indoors and away from windows. Also, we got a storm moving into Mountain Home. We have cameras near Mountain Home. Let me see if I can get a good view of those storms. At least something. We got to find something to look at. Oh. Kind of see something back there. Got an urgent care. A jewelry store. No, this is a nice camera. I like this camera. Yeah, there's the outflow boundary. It's right around, what is it called? Near Banyard. You're in the risk area, but it doesn't look promising. Yeah, they do have a 10% hatch. We do have the potential for strong tornadoes today. We can go over that again for all the new folks in here. Flash flood warning, Newton County, Arkansas. Keep your eyes on it. Watch out for those rising rivers and creeks. But yeah, it's gonna be for Elm Springs, Fayetteville, Elkins, Ozark, Alma, and Shalom Springs. That is gonna be for Arkansas, and then back over here into Oklahoma. That's gonna be for Tahlequah, Stillwell, and Salisaw. Are all gonna be in that strong tornado risk. A 5% is around that. That extends all the way from Tulsa to McAllister, Wilburton, Stigler, Russellville, Mountain Home, and Conway. Then we have a 2% that extends from Jonesboro, Memphis to Springfield, Joplin, Hot Springs, Pine Bluff, McKinney, Bartlesville. So that includes parts of Kansas, Missouri, going into Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma. I think our Missouri risk is going to be relatively low today, if non-existent. Turn around, don't drown. Exactly. Set to 60 dBZs. Yes. I think it is. Hold on. It's close to it. I think it's like 58. It's 53 to 63 dBZs. Is where the flash is. Rising seas. No, I didn't mean to say that. He's in Fayetteville and is going to be heading back to Oklahoma shortly. Who? Carmen? How's the golf game? It's getting better. It's slowly getting better. It takes a while. I pride myself in being a pretty fast learner, but dang, golf is hard. But I am getting much better. Slowly but surely. My chipping and putting is my strong suit. Iron game, I would say, is not a weakness, but it's definitely something that needs to be worked on. And my driving game is it's just terrible. It needs a lot of improvement. So inconsistent. How's my day been? It's been pretty good. Just been relaxing most of the day. It's been relaxing, making thumbnails, made the video, ate just recently, fed Chaz. So I was like, well, I'm not doing anything. I might as well just go live since we had that upgrade. Folks need to know that strong tornadoes are possible today out over here in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Long irons. I do that, Roger. But you know, whenever it's like a par 5, I always bring out the driver just to, you know, work on it. You should never avoid a club. If your goal is to get better, if your goal is to just do as best as you possibly can in the skill level that you are, then yeah, irons off the tee are better. But yeah, you definitely want to use a driver if you're bad at it to get better. I guess Carmen is in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and he is traveling towards Oklahoma. Yes, a very small area for strong tornadoes. Exactly. Very small area for it. And that just kind of goes to show the conditionality of today's threat. You know, it's a boom or bust kind of day. This is the first 10% tornado risk in a while. It really is. It's been a really long time since we've had a 10% patch tornado risk. So I'm hoping it just turns out to be a nothing burger. A little bit of something here near our boundary. We got storm is trying. The storm near Mountain Crest is trying to mature right over the boundary. That boundary should be like over here near Winslow. Storm is right here. New severe thunderstorm warning for Carroll County and Madison County, Arkansas. It's going to be for this cluster of storms just east of Huntsville. It's going to be for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Hail's going to be in the flashing lights there. Heading eventually towards Ponca, Arkansas. When are the storms going to kick off? They're already kicking off. The tornado threat will pick up, though, later in the evening. Also, another storm trying to develop even further south than these storms. So we are starting to see more convection near our outflow boundary. Things are trying to get started. So we got a lot of storms back over here near Tulsa, Bixby, and Okmulgee that might eventually become our main threat later today. Really just depends on when things get started and where. Those storms look nasty. They'll definitely be loud. That is for sure. I'm gonna go check back over. Mountain Home's about to get hit by a storm. Just want to see what it's like. Getting a little bit more windy out there. Nothing too crazy yet, though. Camera here is facing to the east, which is not very helpful. And you see our storms are pretty much everywhere where there isn't cameras, but we'll have this camera up just to see what the conditions are like when the storm comes through. This is in the path of that severe thunderstorm warning. Happy early birthday. Thank you. Yes, my birthday is September 26th. We are birthday twins, me and Blondie. Yeah, you can see that outflow boundary is right here. Our storm is about to go north of it and become an elevated storm. We do have more convection here to the south, though, trying to get started north of Ozark. We got another little storm trying to develop over here near Westville. Is that new? Yeah. Yeah, storms are supposed to get started near Stillwell and then push down to the south and east along our boundary. That is one of the things we are looking out for. Another severe thunderstorm warning for Arkansas. That's going to be for Boone County, Newton County, Arkansas. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Is extending our severe thunderstorm into Ponca and Jasper in Arkansas. It's a September 26th birthday, but they're not a good person. Oh. Well, don't blame that on the date of the birthday. Because his birthday is September 27th, noise. Wolf City for Hannah. Yeah, Wolf City is in a 2% tornado risk. I would say your main threat is going to be damaging winds and severe weather, like not really much of the tornado risk. And that's going to be coming through the area at around 9 p.m. 9 to 11 p.m. there, Hannah. Tornado issuance of a new tornado watch for parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas, which will be needed soon or when they feel like issuing it. Yeah, I'm sure they're monitoring these storms. If we start to see a lot of storms fire to the south of the boundary that aren't looking like they're going to go just directly north of the boundary, then they'll probably issue that tornado watch. But if this storm gets, more organized, then yeah, I think they could pull the trigger, or they just might pull the trigger eventually just because we're getting closer and closer to the peak of the event. And thank you, Melly, for the $9.99 in Ron money. I always forget what Ron money is. Searcy County, Arkansas, and Van Buren County, Arkansas are in a severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And they've extended this off to the east towards Leslie. That's going to be for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Romania. Oh, that's pretty cool. And thank you, Regina, for the $2. Yeah, if you guys have any birthday wishes to send, today might be the only day that you guys see me before my birthday. Unless tomorrow or the day after that escalates. I mean, I will still be making videos. But on my birthday, I'm not going to be live. I'm going to be going to Reed Timmer's Dominator event. But thank you so much, Regina, for the $2. Thank you. Thank you. Aw, you guys are awesome. Thank you. I'm doing a lot on my birthday. Am I going to ask him questions? I don't know. If I can, I will. I mean, I'm sure he's a busy person. I don't know if Reed's going to have time for little old Levin, but if I get a chance to talk to him, I will. I got a seat close to the stage. I severely doubt he's ever watched my channel, though, because usually when I'm live, he's like live streaming. Ask him how many burritos he's had this year. Yeah. I'll do that for you guys. Party hard? No. I am past my party stages. I tried to go out last weekend and I didn't even drink that much. And yeah, I didn't feel good the next day. I'm past my prime. I think my liver is getting older. Kidneys are getting slower. And is recommended? I doubt it. Barely any of my subscribers see my videos, so I doubt he's seen it. I mean, I've talked to Reed Timmer before, but it's just been in passing on YouTube. I mean, in Twitter. I think I've sent him like 4 messages, and he's responded to like 2 of them. What am I doing for my birthday? I'm going to unclaimed baggage, and then I'm gonna eat lunch at a Mexican restaurant. And then I am going to go to Top Golf if we have time. It's gonna be me and my mom hanging out. My dad's out of town. And then we're gonna go eat dinner somewhere and then go to the Reed Timmer thing. You've been watching me since 1950. Yeah. I've been around for a while. You guys might not be able to tell, but I am 70 years old. No way, I have to be older than that. I am 100 years old. It's my birthday on the 26th, but people are celebrating it earlier because there's a good chance that I won't be live until like well after my birthday if weather continues to be quiet. But who knows, maybe one of these systems prompts a live stream of sorts. So we got spaghetti model plots for this storm, bringing it over the Bahamas and what looks like to be out to sea. Got this one errant model that brings us like into Mexico. I don't think that one's going to be correct. Spaghetti models for this storm are also bringing it out to sea, it looks like. So who knows? This one's going to do a close approach if it does form, but we're not quite confident yet that this storm is going to form. So big question marks on that. Been watching for about a year. Well, thank you. And thank you, Eno, for subscribing. Thank you. Thank you. They have taco at a Mexican restaurant? What? No, we're eating sushi. Can you meet me there? I mean, if you're there and you come say hi, totally fine. If you can find me. But I'm going to be celebrating my birthday with my mama, so. Thanks for the update on that storm. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, I mean, guys, these storms are still taking their sweet little time, thankfully. We do have more storms developing near our boundary. But so far, the trend, at least for now, has been storms have been forming and then immediately going over that boundary and becoming elevated. Still a severe weather threat here for northern Arkansas, but we are still waiting for the tornado stream to begin. Am I getting the tramp stamp for my birthday? No. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm ever going to get that tramp stamp. I cannot convince myself to get it. But I will still keep the opportunity open. I still want to get it. I wouldn't be ashamed to have it. I'm afraid of the pain and the permanency of it. Like right now, it sounds like a funny idea because we did that whole thing where you guys donated way too much money for it. So I don't want to let you guys down, but at the same time, it scares the crap out of me. Yeah, somebody in chat like a couple months ago said, if I donated, like, what was it? Was it $1,500 or $2,000? I forget. If people donated up to $2,000, would I get a tramp stamp? And I said yes. Mainly because I thought it wasn't possible. And they did it. Within like the first 2 hours of the stream. So I am obligated to do it, but I am taking my sweet butt time. It's gonna happen eventually. I am going to keep that promise. It's just scary. I'm scared of tattoos. So I gotta get over the fear first. But it will happen. It's gonna be a tornado. All right, let me see if what time is it? Might have Storm on our media about to go live. Yeah, Tornado Pagey still. Yeah, they're still scheduled for 3 o'clock. Do I have Chazzy Cam? He's not here right now, but I can get it reset up again. Hey, thank you, Keen Eye, for the $10. Thank you so much. Happy blessed birthday. Aw, thank you. Always enjoy your storm coverage. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm glad it's helpful. Over here near Jasper, Arkansas, 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, all are heading y'all's way. Then over here near Marshall and Leslie, same thing. It needs to be indoors and away from windows. I think one of our cameras over here. Mountain Home is super dark and spooky now. Ooh. Yeah, we'll go check that out. And thank you, Kyle, for the $2. Let's go over to Mountain Home. How many folks do we have in chat from Arkansas? Oh, yeah. Look at that. It is getting dark and spooky in Mountain Home. Thank you, Mama Shark. Thank you, thank you. Is getting spooky. Oh, wow. Look at this view. There's your leading edge of the storm. Yeah, how many people do we have specifically from Mountain Home in chat? You guys recognize this area? Have any of you guys been to this urgent care or bought a wedding ring from this jeweler? What else can I see? Has any of your dogs ever peed on that fire hydrant on the bottom left? Starting to rain now, I bet. Yeah, there's a decent little storm there. It's not severe warned, but I have a feeling it's gonna pack a little bit of a punch. You live on that tree right there? Ah. Good to know. Thanks for letting us know that, help. Maybe we should start GoFundMe for help so we can build him a tree home in his tree. We all thought, you know, help was either a bot or a person. What we didn't know was that he's actually a bird. You've peed on that fire hydrant? Is there a bar nearby? So public intoxication is illegal. View from work in the Discord. Let me bring that up. Did you post it in the weather photos? Oh yeah, here they are. This is from Mountain Home. Why isn't this showing up? Oh, because I gotta do this. Okay. From Mountain Home. From Discord. Dark skies approaching. You see, there is a storm off in the distance. This is from Kyle. That's a cool little building there with the clock, little clock tower on it. Thanks for sending that in. If you guys join our Discord, you also can send photos and even go live on Discord, and we'll watch it live on stream. You be one of our storm chasers, but that's up to you. We're not going to tell you to do that, but if you want to do that, we will watch. That's your bank? Oh, it's a bank. It's a cool bank. All right, the storm near our boundary is maturing or trying to. We got more storms firing to its south, but nothing mature near our boundary yet. This storms over here near Taliqua are trying, but still not getting their act together. Our main threat for now are these storms in northern Arkansas, pushing down towards Marshall and Leslie. That's going to bring a hail and damaging wind threat. How bad is the tornado threat? Well, if everything comes together just right, we actually have a 10% tornado risk out there. That's going to be for Fayetteville, Springdale, Ozark, Fort Smith, South Salt, Taliqua, Siloam Springs, and Muskogee for Arkansas and Oklahoma. So strong tornadoes. We're talking about the kind of tornadoes that can destroy entire houses, not the ones that'll pick up lawn furniture or maybe knock down a tree or two near you or rip off a couple shingles. We're talking about those tornadoes that can rip off roofs are possible today. So definitely be weather aware out over here into parts of Arkansas and Oklahoma, and even in this 5% region as well. Is flipping Arkansas safe? What? Is that a city, or are you just like mad at Arkansas? Oh my gosh. It is a city. Yeah, flipping Arkansas, oh my goodness, is gonna get rain soon. Severe weather though is to your south. Where do you live? I live in flipping Arkansas. Just flipping Arkansas, man. Are you serious? Like, why? Oh, look at it now. This is a Mountain Home. Yeah, weather radios are good to have. I do agree. The rain is a starting here. We can go actually a little bit further into the storm and see if there's any wind in here. Here's further into the storm. Not too much wind. There's a tree back there. I'm not really seeing it really shake too much. The camera's not shaking. We'll come down into downtown Mountain Home. Yeah, definitely a lot more rainy here. You can see our traffic lights there, not really shaking too much. Yeah, more of like a heavy downpour. What are y'all experiencing here in Mountain Home? Anything that we're not seeing here on these cams? Craziest live stream I've ever done. Honestly, that North Dakota live stream was pretty crazy. Just by like pure viewership. The tsunami stream was really crazy, and by like, you know, kind of pure disaster slash actually seeing the tornadoes as they're happening. You know, there's a stream last year, you know, when the Greenfield tornado happened. We caught a couple tornadoes on that one. Those tornadoes were really strong. We had a camera that was right next to a tornado. That was crazy. Also the Florida Milton tornado outbreak, that was also nuts. Had a lot of crazy stream. It's kind of hard really pick one. Oh wow, look at all these storms firing near Fort Smith. That's south of the boundary. These are the storms, these are the kind of storms that would be needed for today's tornado risk to happen. Storms to fire in this area, as our boundary is right here, or maybe a little bit north of that. Let me see if you can still see it. It's kind of hard to see. I think it's like right in this area though. Even like a little bit of rotation happening here as this one crosses over that boundary. That might be right where the boundary is located. Not seeing a debris ball, but I'll keep a little eye on that. It's pretty weak circulation right now. A hurricane was a tornado factory? Yeah, it was. It was crazy. Got hit on the road. Yeah, that was during the Greenfield tornado when that outbreak happened. Yeah, that was nuts. Watching them baby beans, absolutely. It's these little guys that'll grow up maybe to be a tornado risk, you know. We gotta keep an eye on all of them. I really think these storms back over here near Tahlequah also need to be watched. I think our outflow boundary, let me check to see if we can, how far north that outflow boundary is. We'll switch back over here to this. Yeah, near Tahlequah. So we got winds going down right here. If it's anything like what it is back over here, our outflow boundary should be like in this area. So these storms near Tahlequah might have to be watched as well. If any of these storms can get started over there near Muskogee as well. That's why there is that 10% over there. Our outflow boundary does extend all the way back there. So some increase, you know, of that rotation could be possible as storms pass over that boundary. Looks like Carmen's got a little bit of something on his camera. He's near Fayetteville. Wonder if he's going into Oklahoma now. Popeyes. Love me chicken. Wait, love that chicken from Popeyes. Is that right? Or is that or am I getting that mixed up with another company? I sure do love that chicken from Popeyes though. And we do have a lot more storms trying to pop up here south of our boundary. So got to keep an eye on some storm shenanigans. That's McDonald's? Nah, that's not McDonald's. I know that's not McDonald's. Where are my mods at? You've been asking, is there a tornado? There is no, well, let me just make sure I refresh. Yeah, no, they have not issued a tornado watch yet. Oh, what the heck is going on with the radar? Sorry, I gotta make sure I minimize that. There's no tornado watch yet, but they said that they're gonna be issuing one any moment. So we are waiting for that to happen. We do have a 10% hatched risk for tornadoes, so a tornado watch should be issued at any moment. He says he's dropping south. Oh, hey, if he's dropping south, then maybe he's heading for these storms. So what are we expecting for Little Rock? Storm should come through late night. Talking about anywhere between like 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. for Little Rock. So it's going to be a while. And your guys' tornado risk, I don't think is overly elevated. Yeah, you guys are in a 2% tornado risk. So mainly just some damaging winds for you guys. Yeah, the latest from the SPC has been that mesoscale discussion. This was the latest out of there. For the new folks tuning in, severe thunderstorms are expected by mid to late afternoon. We're already seeing those. One or more severe thunderstorms / tornado watches are going to be likely by 20 to 21Z. And that's going to be in this area of purple. But in this little hatched area, that is our greatest risk for tornadoes. Yay, chat crashed. Love fixing that. Yeah, that's what we're watching out for. Today could be very volatile. It could also be one of those days that just kind of falls apart and nothing happens. We're what I like to call a fine line environment where things could definitely go wrong and definitely also just not do anything. Boom or bust kind of day. It's like over here near Marshall, those stronger storms are about to head into y'all's area. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds are still possible for that as it heads into Marshall. Also back over here south of Ponca, heading towards Friley, Catalpa, Loafer, Solace, Rosetta, Garber, and Fort Douglas are now all in a severe thunderstorm watch with 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds possible. Our boundary is somewhere in this area near Stillwell, and we do have a storm that looks like it's kind of wrapping into it a little bit. This one right here, it's also getting a little bit of a merger too. I keep an eye on this guy right here near Cass still. You feel like it's going to be a bust? Hopefully you're wrong. Yeah, I would say 60% not a bust, 40% a bust. Just depends. Again, it's a fine line, but I do think our kinematics are more in favor of a tornado day than not. But we'll see. Really just depends on where our storms can actually fire in relation to this outflow boundary. If they fire to the south, you know, our lower level shear is supposed to increase as we go later into the day, but it's actually been on the downtrend. We actually don't have any areas now where like there's like a concentrated area of like over 25 knots. Hopefully it's a bust. But again, we just won't know until the event really starts to get going. I'm not seeing any big signs for a bust right now. I mean, our thermodynamics, we have, you know, 3,000 joules per kilogram. Our lower level lapse rates are only improving as the day moves on. So that's not going to be an issue. We're not talking like a, you know, if this was happening and, you know, there was not any forecast for storms south of this boundary and we had like, you know, 6 degree or 5 degree lapse rates like this, you know, I'd be calling this most likely a bust scenario, like an 80% bust, 20% it happens. But you know, usually when they issue those 10% hatched risks, like the morning of or the afternoon of, that's usually an indication that, you know, we are seeing a lot of those the environmental parameters in place. And checking on the mesoscale analysis, I do tend to agree with that. So. Is a dude temp spread favorable? Let me check. Yeah, I mean 82 over 75, 81 over 74, 92 over 73 on the Arkansas Oklahoma border. Yeah, they are favorable. It's harder to get tornadoes in like 90-degree temperatures, but it's not impossible. It makes sense. I appreciate that. Thank you. I try to explain things in a way that you even, you know, someone that's not super familiar with weather can understand. That's my goal. It's been a while since we've seen a hatched risk area. Yeah, it's been a while. Absolutely. So moderators, a tornado watch maybe issued in the next few minutes. Yes. Yes. A tornado watch could be issued at any moment. Really depends on when they decide to issue it. I don't have NWS chat, so I can't tell you guys exactly when it's going to happen, but I have a feeling it's going to be soon. So I think our boundary is somewhere in this area, and our storm is still pretty darn close to that. It's trying to latch onto it. It is very close to it, and it's still maturing. So keeping a close eye. It does kind of seem like, though, it might be moving just north of it. But we still have more storms firing to its south. Again, what we're pretty much watching for, at least with these storms here, is for if these storms can mature fully before they go over the boundary. If they do that, they're probably going to produce a tornado. So still keeping a very close eye on those guys. Also keeping an eye on these storms developing here near Taliqua. Our outflow boundary extends all the way back like this, and these storms are trying to form close to it as well. These could also be a strong tornado threat later on in the day as well. Tulsa is probably going to be all right. I think for the most part, yeah, you guys are, it says you're in a 5% tornado risk there in Tulsa. I'm not very convinced. Really just depends on when the storms fire there. Our latest model runs haven't been indicating too much convection over there. It was more like a yesterday thing. Let me just go and check to make sure on our latest models that still holds true. Yeah, you can see that there's just nothing that fires near Tulsa. So it'll likely be off to your east. Maybe like these storms, like by 5 p.m. Might have to watch those. They look pretty small, but even small storms can sometimes produce. But our main kinematics will be off here to the east. It's just not a very tornadic environment that those storms are going to be in, but it's technically not impossible. You see the lower level shear is going to be kind of displaced off to the east of there, so not a whole lot of spin in that area. No real surprises there in this significant tornado parameter. Instability there is going to be there, so there could definitely be an argument that there could be, some severe weather, a little bit of storm relativisticity in that area. If that outflow boundary is near these storms, then maybe we could see something there. Severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin County and Madison County, Arkansas. It's going to be for 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. I think that's this one extending down a little bit further to the south, covering this storm near Cass, Redding, Beech Grove, and Peanut. Yeah, you can see we still have some broad circulation on this storm near that outflow boundary, but it is still not really wrapping up. Seems like it might have just gone north of that boundary, so that storm might not be able to do anything here, but still watching these little guys over here. And I think we have a camera, a pretty nice camera that's about to be close to that storm that just passed through Mountain Home. Maybe it's already in the storm. Yeah, it's in the storm. And thank you, James, for being a member for 8 months. Thank you so much. Let's see what else we can look at. We see that one. These ones are going to be kind of close to those storms that are trying to develop. You can get like a western facing cam. Yeah. And these are those little tiny baby cells that are south of the outflow boundary. No, Northeast Oklahoma is not done. We are expecting thunderstorm activity to increase into about 5 p.m., probably about around 7 p.m. You could probably say that northeastern Oklahoma is probably done. Storm Runner will be live in about 5. Yeah, we're waiting patiently for them. Tornado Pagey should go live at the same time too. I'll have to move some storm chasers around on the main screen. And you can see the sunshine's coming through this area as well. So a lot of instability probably building near these storms. Where we're looking at is we're looking at a camera here, and it's looking back in this direction. So those little dark clouds are actually these storms. Our boundaries right here. These are the ones that are trying to mature and then push up into that boundary. And that's what the storm looks like. Tornado Pagey never misses a storm system ever. Yeah, right? I thought she wasn't going live today because of her doctor appointment, but it looks like she's going to be able to sneak in a little bit of a chase. DFW is, I think, just to the south. Sorry for all that S's, all those S's. But yeah, south of that tornado risk. It's like these storms near Tahlequah are starting to get a little bit of a bean shape. A little bit of broad rotation too. I have to keep an eye on those guys. I think our boundary extends back close to those. We also have some other storm firing over here near West Fork, another one here near Prairie Grove. Things are starting to look a little bit more interesting out there. Timing for second round of storm in Fort Smith. Fort Smith. Where's Fort Smith? Okay, I see you guys. You're right there. Should be around like 4 to 5, but it might start happening a little bit earlier than that. Just really depends. We do have storms trying to reach down into that area. A couple of little confluence bands, I think. Or at least some area where the forcing is being successful in initiating storms. Oh wow, look at this view from wait, what? I am confused. Jacob. Oh, I don't know why I have two instances of Jacob. This is the view from Jacob. He is near the Tahlequah storms. We should be able to get a view of the Tahlequah storms here in a little bit, as you can probably see them. Mountain Home just had a storm. That one's passed. Should just mainly be rain. It could clear out for a little bit, like light rain, and then it might get a little bit more hectic in the next couple of hours. Northwest Arkansas storms. Yeah, that surface inversion is due to that cooler air that we've been talking about, that boundary. New severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Still for this storm, that's going to be now including Yale, Baston, White Oak, Gillian Settlement, Ozone, and Dillon. Yeah, you can see these storms firing over here near Farmington as well. Actually, let's go peek at those. We should be able to see some of those. This is the one that's near Ozark. I want to see that one. If we can get a view of that one near West Fork. Might be able to see it. Oh yeah, look at that. So there's the storm near West Fork. On the left side of the stream there. That one's trying to develop. And we also have some storms developing near Farmington as well, which I think is like right there, maybe just south. So maybe these cameras. Yeah, some low clouds over there near Farmington. Can't quite see that storm. Oh, well, there's a storm. Look at that. There's a Farmington storm trying to get its act together. Looks a little bit more menacing from the surface than it does on radar. Tahlequah. Oh, okay. I'll try to remember that. But I'm gonna refill my water. Give me like 20 seconds. I am back. Yeah, that's a decent looking little storm there. Yeah, these storms that are popping up near Farmington, they are all popping up near that outflow boundary. Especially those ones over there near Tahlequah and near Stillwell as well. Like you see these storms are trying to fire near that boundary. This one is, these are as well. So gotta keep a close eye. Oh, looks like Carmen is near one of those storms in Farmington. I think he's near Farmington. Yeah, let's listen in. I think he's closer to it. Yeah, we were just looking at that from a distance.
Pretty sure we have.
It's gonna get popping soon. Yeah, it does seem like it. Things are getting a little bit more organized. A lot more storms trying to mature near the boundary now.
Some interesting stuff going on for sure. But we're on this cell. Come on, Dad. We're on the
Northern Alabama is looking like marginal. Some. Oh, looks like we just got a tornado watch.
Even though it's moving in.
Issued. Tornado watch has been officially issued. Let me get that official graphic up. There we are. So here's our tornado watch. As you guys can see, it's going to be for Tulsa, Muskogee, Patel, McAllister. That's going to be for a couple strong tornadoes possible. They're in Oklahoma. Also Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Clarksville, and Conway in Arkansas. Scattered hail up to 2-inch size possible, and scattered gusts up to 75 miles per hour. So yeah, definitely a volatile day possible out over here in the Arkansas and Oklahoma area. If you guys are part of this 2.4 million people that are underneath this tornado watch, definitely be weather aware, as this tornado watch will be valid until 10 p.m. tonight. It has officially been issued here. All right, we should have Paigey Tornado live now, as she pushed her stream back an hour. But Storm Runner Media is live. They are in...
A new tornado watch has been issued.
Somewhere. I don't know where they are at. Let me replace him, though. Okay, so let me move some things around here. I'm going to put Storm Runner Media up here. And then I am going to put Carmen. Hold on, let me get Carmen up. Carmen there. This needs to be above chat, just like that. There we go. Wow, look at that view from Carmen. Carmen's got quite the view of this storm near Farmington.
Yeah, there's some kind of like weird. That's the back of the storm, so this is where the updraft would be at. And there's almost like an inflow tail right there.
Oh yeah, there is a little inflow tail.
Oh, it's splitting. There's a left split over there too. I need to stop and get a picture of that. That's pretty cool.
New severe thunderstorm warning has been issued out over here for northern Tahlequah, central Tahlequah into Westville. If you guys live in this area, make sure that you are in your safe spots. Not safe spots, sorry, indoors and away from windows. That's going to be for, let's see, that is $half sized hail, 60 mile per hour winds.
A new tornado watch has been issued.
You guys need to be watching out for that hail. Not a whole lot of rotation yet in this storm, but again, it's close to that boundary. They can latch onto that boundary. It will become a tornado threat. Also, look at this, a little bit of rotation south and west of Farmington. Back over with these storms, not really seeing anything too potent out there just yet. We got some storms firing over here near Stigler and Wilburton as well. Let me try to listen in to Stormwater Media.
We're not that far from supercells. They are blowing up right now.
Even to your south there. Look at that one blowing up.
Yeah. These guys are starting to blow up. You guys are seeing the anvils from these supercells.
Where?
Yep, we're fine.
Where are they
It'll
at?
hold.
You think so?
Yeah, it'll hold. The fact I was able to move it up and move it without it doing anything was fine.
It's good. It's good news, yeah.
On the 26th of September, me and your husband will have been married for 25 years.
But we
Dang.
are out here. Flew into Kansas City last night, and I'm out here. We are streaming.
His overlay is messed up.
It says flash flood warning because we're not in a flash. Oh wait, maybe we are in a flash flood warning. That makes sense.
A lot of rain.
Say it did rain all most of the morning into the early afternoon, and now it's finally clearing out.
That smell is finally because the air is pumping.
Yeah, you see that storm up there to the west? Not exactly sure where that is though. I think Jacob McMillan is near the Tahlequah storms. These are what the Tahlequah storms look like right now.
Oh, chat, this looks really promising. We already have what looks to be a little occlusion right there.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, there's your mesocyclone of that storm. This is in near Tahlequah.
might
That's
be
that new
about to
severe
go big.
thunderstorm warning we just got. Or Tahlequah, sorry.
Big bolts in front of us here. This thing is blown up in a hurry.
They are not in Arizona, no. Yeah, he'll figure it out. They just got the stream going.
Not
It'll
much
probably be
rotation in the low
updated.
levels anywhere just yet.
Okay, no rotation, he says, on this
Thing up
storm just
over-
yet.
Over the hill looks pretty nice though.
And it's been a while since we've had a tornado threat in Oklahoma as well. You know, Oklahoma is the tornado capital, or the tornado state of the United States, and it's been pretty darn quiet recently. Hopefully it stays that way today for, you know, the folks near Stillwell and Salisal. But man, this storm is already
on the wrong thing, chat.
already
I think
looking
like I have
pretty
to focus
interesting.
The way that I have to focus it, but
See if we can get another view before we come back over to radar.
just over this hill here. It's kind of the first storm of the day for us. Definitely not bad.
Oh yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, not super organized yet near the surface, but that is definitely the sign of a growing storm there.
Oh yeah, it's low back west.
Wow. I think Carmen is also near a storm as well. This is near Farmington. This storm is trying to get organized as well. You can see there is the bottom of the storm. So yeah, these two storms are what we're looking at here. We're watching this storm over here near Tahlequah. That one's pretty close to our boundary. One near Farmington should technically be north of our boundary, but it could extend maybe like back like this. So maybe you can make an argument that it could sink down to the south, or maybe the storm near Westville could try to do something eventually. And yeah, we got a couple of storms. This one over here just to the east of West Fork that's trying to develop near the boundary. We've got a couple of storms back over here that are also developing near the boundary. So things are definitely trying to get started here. But the question is, do any of these storms latch on? Because again, we're not really in a very favorable environment right now unless a storm latches onto that boundary. We don't really have a whole lot of lower level shear in this area to support a tornado threat without a boundary interaction. All right, let's see if we can get any information on where Storm Runner Media is.
Look at the trees.
What storm are they close to?
We're gonna be in pretty tree and hilly terrain today.
I think they're in Arkansas.
Trying to figure out,
Those look like Arkansas trees and grass again.
yeah, road times.
You see that white flower on the side of the road? That is definitely an Arkansas flower.
On the, off the car dashboard. See that?
They're either in like southern Missouri or Arkansas.
Oh, then I'll do that.
Man, look at that storm back over there, though.
That's why. That's
With like
the
this
reason
light
why they-
streaming in onto those
why that box is there.
clouds there.
Onto the box today, I didn't glue on today.
Whoa. What is that?
Man, this is a beautiful looking supercell. Wow. Where? Look at that. Oh yeah, yeah.
Let me mute these guys real quick. That looks suspicious. Hold on. Maybe a wall cloud trying to develop.
It's hard to tell, but there's something really low right there. I mean,
That is
it's
suspicious.
like a little lowering.
Maybe a little wall cloud
Gotta get my camera.
trying to develop there. Again, that's near Farmington. We go look on radar in the Farmington area. There is a little area of rotation. That might be what he's looking at right there. Oh, wow. A little bit more rotation trying to develop south of Ellerville. Are you? Yeah, Ellerville. Yeah, I think that would be our main area there. I think this stuff to the south is side lobe. This here is probably our main area of rotation. So rotation is trying to develop on this storm north of Tahlequah. Keeping a close eye on that. By the way, for Mountain View, this storm has been upgraded again back up to that ping pong ball sized hail. And it's going to be heading towards Mountain View here shortly. So make sure you guys are indoors and well away from those windows. Tahlequah. It's going to be hard for me to. I've been calling it Tahlequah for so long. It's going to be hard for me to forget that. Whenever I get a moment, can I check Okmulgee? I have family there. Let me see. You guys are in a tornado watch. You got storms trying to develop to your west. They are still not, they're kind of like baby storms right now. If you guys can get past these with no issue, should be good to go for the rest of the day. Yeah, that's the latest across the board here. We're keeping a close eye on these storms, folks. Still nothing really like, other than that one little lowering. I'm trying to see if we're going to get another view of that lowering again near Farmington, as there is a little area of rotation there. Kind of a weird looking storm on radar, but that kind of lines up. South of Fayetteville right now. Yeah, over there like near Perry Grove and Lincoln. Yeah. Oh, you mean south of Fayetteville? So you're talking like, where's Fayetteville? Oh, okay. Like near Greenland, Fayette Junction. Yeah. Definitely some decent rain there. You guys are pretty close to where that little area of rotation would be. So I'll definitely be weather aware. No tornado warnings right now, though, folks. We do have a tornado watch here in the black. So make sure you get, if you live in any of these cities, if you're watching out for some tornadic weather, have your tornado plan in place, ready to go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does look like this storm, Help's got a good point. It does look like this storm near Tahlequah might already be north of our boundary. And it doesn't seem to be going towards it. It seems to be going away from it. It's a good point. It is north of the boundary. We do have a storm south of Tahlequah, though, that is trying to mature and is about to go over that boundary. Gotta watch that one. And if this storm is north of the boundary, then the one near Farmington might be north of our boundary as well. Yeah, have your weather radio on. That's a good word of advice. You have a plan in place, you left the area. There you go. That is one way to have a plan in place. Let's go check back in on that storm near looks like not that one. Near Tahlequah. See if we can see it here. It looks like he's going through some back roads. That's the one thing about today that might be a little bit annoying is that there's going to be lots of trees and lots of hills. Is it not Tahlequah? I feel like I said it right that time. No? Close? Whatever. I'm not gonna grow a couple gray hairs trying to figure all that out. I'm doing the best I can. The good news is if you are correcting me, you know I'm talking about you. So I've already technically done my job. Also a little storm over here near Ardmore. $half sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds heading off to the east towards Lone Grove and Springer. Make sure you guys are indoors and away from windows with that storm as well. Who's at the top left? That is Storm Runner Media. They're in Arizona. I'm just kidding. They're actually in Arkansas. We were right.
How many cameras do you have here? One on the
We were right about the Arkansas trees and grass.
How does it all work? All right, chat. The radar is working.
Yeah, Shalom Springs, Arkansas.
Okay, so
they're out in front of that Tahlequah storm. You see that off that storm
3,
complex out in front of them.
That. 2 is that. And 4 doesn't work yet. 4 is my roof. But I didn't have enough time to get out here to try to figure that one out.
So you don't have a roof. That's not great on a day like today, you know.
Hey, thank you, Wendy, for sending 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. That is a huge help, especially with this month of being so quiet.
We're in Siloam Springs.
Thank you so much. You guys get a membership from Wendy. Make sure you're thanking her in chat. She is single-handedly keeping me and Chaz from starving to death. It's funny, but it's also not funny. But I'd rather not be live for y'all's sake. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not live, y'all don't got to worry about anything. Oh wow, look at this view from Carmen. Little scud, weird scud, scary looking cloud off to the left there. I think this storm right here is north of our boundary though. Just a little trough, Corin. A little trough came in from kind of like Canada. Some colder air and a little lee cyclogenesis from the Rocky Mountains.
Somebody wrecked their truck.
Caused a little low pressure to spin up. But again, today is going to be interesting. I'm still sitting at around 60% chance that we do see some tornadoes today. But again, there is also a couple of factors that could cause there to be 0 tornadoes. It's not a guarantee. I do want to stress that, but I would be weather aware out there. Also, a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued out over here near Ada, DeQueen, Idabel, Hugo, Paris, Bonham, Sherman, and Gainesville here in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas. This is going to be a little bit for a tornado threat. Also, wind and hail as well. September 26th is your wife's father's birthday. Okay. That's a stretch, but it still counts. Birthday twins. Fine with thunderstorms, didn't expect to be in the bullseye for the day. Yeah, it happens. We've been talking about it on the channel for for a good amount of time.
A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
Oh, wow. Check this out. Look how dark it is over there. They're approaching that massive rain that is developing here near Farmington. Does seem a little bit messy out there, which is giving me hope. A lot of these storms are firing close to each other, which means that we don't have a whole lot of isolated cells yet.
A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
And this is that thunderstorm complex that is just south of Shalom Springs. Yeah, it's going to keep happening for a couple of times. They issue the severe thunderstorm watches in batches, and so they come in separately. And so with any program that, you know, updates on warnings and stuff, it comes through as individual severe thunderstorm watches, so it repeats itself quite a bit. It's a little interesting area here south of Fayetteville, even though the storm I think is north of our boundary. But we have a lot of SRH up here. Sometimes even elevated storms can produce. Let me see where our SRH is sitting at. It's around 300. Right around the Farmington area is where most, like our highest amount of storm relative helicity is right now. Please turn my sound up. Me? On my mic? I think the volume's good. Check this out. This is a little bit closer to that storm near Tahlequah.
Suspect we have a decent view here. Here it is.
Whoa. Oh yeah, that's a storm right there.
So tad stable at the moment. That looks tornadic.
Yeah, he's saying it's a tad stable looking. Which might be because it's north of that boundary. Looks like he's going through a low service area, but we'll check back in if he gets another view of that. That looked pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that guy needs to turn up his volume. I don't know. Arkansas trees strike again. No, those are technically Oklahoma trees. You can tell by oh, here's another view of that storm. Yeah, you can just tell by the shade of the tree and the grass as well. Like you can just tell it's just definitely not Arkansas. Like the poles are all off. That's a GeoGuessr meme. I actually don't know what Arkansas or Oklahoma trees look like. But yeah, you can definitely tell that there's a storm there, but I'm not seeing anything like moving real quick underneath that storm, so it's not looking overly tornadic right now. This one here in Oklahoma. This is near Proctor. Near Farmington. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on this area. It's interesting. I think we do have a little bit of contamination into here. But there is some rotation. It's just not very strong at the moment.
A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
Hopefully that's the last time that plays. Also a little bit of rotation north of Proctor inside of this storm right now. Not very strong, but a little bit there. Let me check from this radar. You can also kind of see that on this radar as well. Maybe that outflow boundary is like wrapping into our storm right now. We also have this storm trying to mature to its south and west as well near Tahlequah too. Or Tahlequah, sorry. The storm, by the way, has been upgraded to 2-inch hail. That is significant hail heading towards Westville. If you live in Westville and Watts, has need to be indoors and well away from those windows. Again, 2-inch hail is nothing to scoff at. That'll definitely cause some cracked windows and some damaged roofs. Looks like one of our chasers is in the storm. Let's see what it's like. He's near
I might flip,
Tahlequah,
actually.
so there might be hail. We might see some of that hail
I'm
here.
worried we'll lose it if we cut like this.
Oh yeah, look at all those leaves flying around.
All right, I'm gonna flip around here. We're gonna go back. Yeah, I think we're gonna go. I don't think we'll go around.
Okay, he lost service. Let me switch to another chaser perspective. Bowrunner Media should be eventually pushing into this storm. Who's that? Was that Ben?
After sitting in the sun for so long,
I think that's Ben.
which is unfortunate.
Look at that hat.
But we are enduring
Is that fries on that hat, or are those apples?
now.
Or maybe
We're
peppers?
here
Is that a
into
pepper
the
hat?
storm. We're here towards the storm. So, you guys.
I think that's Ben. Yeah, they're gonna have to pass through all this rain here, but once they get to the south, they should be able to get a good view on the storms eventually. Yeah, look at all this, how all of our storms are kind of clustering here. Very interesting. Again, in an environment like today, that could spell disaster for a tornado threat, as in terms of the tornado threat not being able to be realized. Because again, this mass of rain, all it's going to do is create just an even larger cold pool, which would theoretically push that outflow boundary further to the south. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. You see these storms back over here near like Mountain View. Still are a hail threat with that ping pong ball sized hail heading towards Mountain View. We still got this north of Clarksville. But all of these storms are staying north of our boundary right now as well. So interesting. Very interesting. This is not really like in comparison to some of our last HRRR runs, we certainly have a lot more clustering than what was forecasted. So fingers crossed that that causes that outflow boundary to surge to the south. And we don't see any storms latch onto it, but still a little bit too early to really call anything just yet. But definitely interesting. Something worth noting for sure. Lower level jet hasn't really shown any signs of ramping up. Our latest models are saying 6 hours from now it ramps up, but in Missouri, away from like our best kinematics. So yeah, not looking. The LLJ is does not appear to be the thing that's going to kick off these storms. I'll show you what I'm looking at. This is the mesoscale analysis, which is basically just a pretty reliable model here when you look out to the future, and you can see that little blue area that pops up on the border of Missouri and Arkansas. That is that lower level jet kicking in. It kicks in about 6 hours, but there's no precipitation, and that's in like some really bad instability. So it's going to be behind these storms. It's not going to be in front of it. So yeah, the lower level jet might pick up in 6 hours, but that's not going to be what dictates our strong tornado threat. It's going to be this boundary here, if any of these storms can latch on to. But it seems like a lot of our storms are firing maybe a little bit too close, and they're just not maturing fast enough. You know, what we need theoretically to still realize this strong tornado threat is to see one of these storms do kind of a more of a southeastern trajectory right along that boundary. So still definitely could see something. But you know, the longer that we have this clustering here, the more cold air kind of pools underneath these storms, and that will help push that cold pool and outflow boundary further to the south, than it already is. And, you know, we'd have to rely on these storms over here near Stigler, maybe, for a tornado threat. Seems like there's pretty bad service where all of our storm chasers are right now. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Just my initial thoughts on this environment right now. We're not really waiting on the lower level jet. We're really just waiting on these storms to latch onto a boundary. Is Little Rock, Arkansas under a tornado watch or warning? Little Rock, Arkansas is not in a tornado watch or tornado warning right now. Do I think any of these storms will make it to Northwest Louisiana? If they do, I think that's going to be tomorrow. There are going to be storms down into Louisiana, but yeah, some storms by 6 a.m. Mainly going to be like a damaging wind threat there. Oh, wow. Check out this from Carmen. It's near Farmville. That's what the storm looks like there. See if his service comes back on. Any NATOs yet? Not yet. The storms are clustering a little bit more than we thought would happen. Okay, looks like we lost him. It's like, let's see if we can find some hail. Thanks again. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely no issue. I love keeping you guys in the know. I'm hoping these storms just fall apart. Dog cam. Chaz is not in the room right now. I can't tell. Is that crack on his window new? Like, did he just get that? I don't know why his camera sounds like there's someone showering in the distance.
I'm just not very impressed.
No, that crack's been there.
At the moment.
That's not a new crack from the hail in that storm. That Haley's nearby should have 2-inch hail inside of it. Two Red Bulls? That's 2 Red Bulls too many. Like sand hitting metal. It sounds weird. I think he's got like some sort of noise filter on, which will make his voice sound a lot more clear, but it'll also make the rain or hail sound a little weird. Okay, this storm looks interesting. It's still technically, I think, near our boundary. Let me check from the Kinks radar. Yeah, it's right next to the boundary. So if it's going to latch onto that and produce a tornado, it's going to do that pretty shortly. Also, new severe thunderstorm warning back over here near our little update on the severe thunderstorm warning over here near Lone Grove, near Ardmore, Oklahoma for 1.25-inch hail. So they're still keeping that going. So make sure you guys are still indoors and away from windows. Thank you, Grifter, for being a member for 8 months. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Do I see any real threat for Conway, Arkansas? Let me just double check. I feel like I know where that is, but I'm not exactly sure. You guys are in a tornado watch? Yeah, I would say there's a real threat. Well, it just depends on what these storms do. You know, your best case scenario is that you get these guys first, and they are still north of that boundary. Then the environment will get scraped over, become a little bit more outflowy, and then, you know, maybe you get these storms later, but by that time, these storms will probably be not as potent, especially if they keep clustering like this. A little interesting area of rotation near Prairie Grove, but that appears to be side lobe, not real rotation there. That's all I'm seeing. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning over here near Mountain View as well, with ping pong ball sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And that's it. We shall see. A lot of clustering, though. That's not super favorable in this environment. So that there is some hope. Fingers are crossed. I do see the real threat for Fayetteville. Yeah, you guys definitely need to be weather aware here initially. I do think the outflow boundary is south of you, but a lot of our SRH is in this area. It wouldn't surprise me if we got a brief tornado somewhere in here. So I would still be weather aware. I don't think those tornadoes will be strong if they do try to develop. Just given that they are behind that boundary. Nice to see me on the big screen. Thanks. Will it be stronger? If it clusters, it could be a stronger damaging wind threat as it eventually surges down to the south and east. But in terms of the tornado threat, it will, like, again, our environment's on a kind of a thin line right now. And so essentially, there's a lot of things that can go either wrong or right. And it just depends on how these storms develop. If we get an isolated storm that latches onto our boundary where we're going to have more spin. We have a boundary that's like set up in this area like this. As you can see, most of these storms appear to be north of that boundary right now. Except for like maybe this one is like really close to it, right? So all these storms are going to be what we call elevated storms, which means they're going to be a minimal tornado threat. But, you know, if you have higher SRH, you can still get a tornado out of it. So I'm still watching these storms over here with Farmington. A lot of spin in that area. Could overcome these storms down here that are north of the boundary. These will likely be a damaging wind threat only. And then these ones over here, we're still watching as they are. This one near Tahlequah is near the boundary. Any storms that fire to the south of the boundary and latch onto it will eventually have some sort of tornado threat. But that's the thing. Big question marks. Still, you know, if we had like one or two storms fire near the boundary and this kind of rode the boundary, then we wouldn't have, you know, we'd be a lot more worried. But as of right now, I'm feeling a little sense of hope because of just how much these storms have clustered and where they are in relationship to that boundary. So fingers crossed that that stays like this, that these storms create a large cold pool and we don't see any significant surge. I am noticing, though, some stronger winds here. Another thing that we have to watch out for is when you're having these little boundary interactions is that sometimes you can get some stronger wind surge. And when that does, it can surge the leading edge of the thunderstorm into the boundary. We got to be watching for that as well. And we are getting some stronger winds. I wouldn't necessarily call that a surge though yet, as if I push this forward, let me see where it's traveling. It is kind of traveling to the south. Maybe a little surge. Minute. That'll be something worth watching. Been gone 15 minutes. Have you missed anything? Not really. Storm Hunter Media, though, is getting closer and closer to what the? Is that a winter weather advisory? For Alaska? Okay, that makes sense. I was like, where's that for? Not in this area.
MCD has been issued for this location.
We got a new MCD issued. Well, I'll wait for it to pop up before we go. But this is the view. We'll listen to their audio. They should also be close to that hail.
Big W,
Much does it.
Jim. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy and the tires are good.
So far, verifying nicely to the 16Z HRRR run. Was that more?
Think about this.
Let me see if that was more
We might actually
clustered.
have to go that way, really.
I think we're gonna have to go down to Stillwell and then take a road out of Stillwell.
No.
Go down to Stillwell?
Yeah,
The 16Z wasn't this clustered.
west. We're gonna have to go
I guess it's
west.
not terrible. It is pretty close, but the 16Z had a little bit more isolated supercells.
We have to do that, I think. Look,
Not going over here
well, we're gonna target this storm right here.
and waiting for it.
We gotta get to Stillwell.
Yeah, it's clustered a lot quickly in comparison to the 16Z. Like all of our latest model runs out of the HRRR have been indicating that we should see some discrete cells near the boundary, but we haven't gotten that yet. We do have a storm near Tahlequah that I'm probably the most worried about right now out of all of these storms.
Good to see you back out again. Yeah, I see that cell to the south, west. I'm just trying to.
This is the storm that is got that little surging portion to it, the one we were talking about with that wind surge. It's the leading edge of it. This is just to the east of
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I saw your dot go. I'm
Tahlequah.
like, he's going the wrong way.
That right?
Rotation somewhere in here.
No,
Oh,
Tahlequah.
It's rotating.
Ugh, so hard to remember these things. Yeah, it's Freddie on the radio.
Not
We're not
strong.
sure if we're gonna go all the way down the Stillwell or not for that bottom one, or go east and kind of just wait for it. We're not sure yet.
Do you think one of these?
Yeah, they need to go for the one near Stillwell. If this one produces, it's going to be in rain. And it seems to be north of the boundary, but it could surge eventually. But, you know, they're near this one near Westville. There's not a whole lot of rotation, and this one's not really super organized either. These storms up here are just showing evidence of being elevated right now. Yeah, this one right here, I think is our closest storm to a boundary. A little bit more, like, I would say semi-discrete. Oh, man. Is that the boundary right there? I think the boundary just sunk to the south of this storm as well. Yeah, I think that's an outflow boundary there. I guess, I don't know. That outflow boundary is starting to surge down to the south a little bit. What is that? Something hanging down here.
Yeah, that's going to be the next thing, because this one
Just
up
a
here
mess.
just shot out a big fat outflow boundary.
Yeah, they're talking about that outflow boundary too.
What do we do? Here.
Go. Now that I see that it shot out a boundary, that's not gonna work.
Why? Yeah.
We're gonna have to go east.
East where? To where?
And they got to go south. They got to go to
Here,
Stigler.
We have to catch the interstate. We have to go down south maybe.
Yeah.
If this ends up being it. Because I don't think that we can make it down here in time with the. We're not gonna make it in time for that bubbler if we go down.
No, that was just
Yeah,
Scud.
we can. We got a road right here.
With all the turns and everything else, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say with how much
Well,
this
we
is
gotta
propagating to
figure
the
this out,
south.
because
Again, once these storms become outflow dominant, there is not enough, you know, shear to really kick off much tornado activity up here. Maybe some brief tornadoes still can't be ruled out, but you know, what they're talking about is if you look at Kink's radar, you can see this outflow boundary and how this storm just shot one out. We put this in motion. I'll show you guys. We put it in motion right about here. You see this little green line starts there, then moves to the south, and then moves to the south, moves to the south. That is cold air rushing out from our storm. Our storm needs warm and moist air to survive. Its mouth, the storm's mouth is like right here. Imagine this is a mouth. You know, it's got like little teeth, whatever. Maybe a little tongue sticking out like, you know. And then you see this cold air is rushing out of the storm. It's almost like the storm is throwing up because the environment around it is repulsive to the storm. And so that is a great sign for the folks that live out here. These storms will likely be elevated, which means it'll be harder to get a tornado. Oh, wow. We've got a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. 70-mile-per-hour winds possible over here near Greenland and West Fork, Elkins, Lincoln, Farmington, and Westville. That is going to be with this storm here that is surging a little bit. So if you live in this area, watch out. That could cause a decent amount of power outages out over there. But yeah, this storm over here near Stigler, you know, it's south of the boundary. If these storms can mature, maybe. But they just seem to be struggling to do that. There just might not be enough forcing. Some problems are arising. Some hope. Thank you, Sonic Sheen. I appreciate that. Do I know how? Let me see about this because I'm in an apartment in Georgia. Oh, you can be calm. Take a deep breath. Stop drinking so many Red Bull. Find you some melatonin. They did allow that severe thunderstorm warning over there near Mountain View to be allowed to expire there. I got this little one over here near Ozark, north of Ozark, near Beech Grove. That's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Not really much of a hail threat. Let me see what's going on with Carbon. Is that a me problem or a him problem? Let me try doing a refresh. Looks like his stream went down, unfortunately. Is there capping? It will build in if it's not showing up on the meso analysis. Basically, all that outflow boundary means is that there is a surface inversion developing. So that's cooler air. That means the air on the surface is cooler than the air above it. So if you think about it like this, here's the top of the atmosphere. Here's the bottom of the atmosphere. Here's the ground right here. And then let's say like this is your storm, like the right side of the storm right here, right? So essentially this storm has dropped a bunch of rain and it's now surging some cooler air down here, and the air above it is likely warmer than the surface, which creates a little bit of a surface inversion, elevates the storm, and it becomes more of a wind and hail threat and not much of a tornado threat. As you can see, there's just no rotation on any of these storms right now because of the fact that they are north of that cooler air boundary. Not looking too great for a tornado threat right now. Something's gonna have to change. Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Let me see. Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Yeah, you guys are under a 70-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. So strong winds are approaching you guys. I would definitely be indoors and away from windows. Power outages are going to be pretty possible as that moves through. Let's go check the conditions inside of the storm. This is Storm Runner Media.
Flooding is definitely a possibility today. For real.
Yeah, it looks like there's some flooding starting to happen here near Westville, Oklahoma.
This morning and last night. I mean,
I'm not a particular fan of those little bubblers right now,
no, I'm not either.
but I don't really know if we have a better option.
It's either it's this trash in the mountains or like a blob in the mountains or what? I mean, that's
Right.
that's where my mind's at too.
Probably had a big fat world to figure out now, but pick up that stupid mountain.
This should be around where those 70-mile-per-hour winds should be.
Yeah, I've got Fort Smith in my GPS, by the way.
So they're thinking it's the
Same.
Famous one.
Yeah, a lot of heavy rain coming down here. Maybe some flooding starting to get started here near Westville.
Right. Okay. Oh, you have it there.
I got it.
Also into Fayetteville as well, in Farmington, Prairie Grove are all in flash flood warnings.
Boundary things, definitely. Yeah, I just didn't. I wish you didn't do it this early.
I want to look at mesoanalysis.
What do you want to look at?
Um,
I can pull it up for you.
0 to 3 SRH.
It should be around like 200 to 300 where they are. This SRH.
What's our
Let me see. Is Pagey live yet? She should be live in like 9 minutes. Yeah, it still says that they're scheduled for 4 p.m. Over here near Lone Grove in Ardmore, Oklahoma, still watching out for that potential for some $half sized hail moving into Ardmore. I know what the satellite imagery looks like over here. A lot of cloud cover back over here as well. Yeah, this storm over here near Stigler isn't really looking too impressive on the satellite right now. What did I do up here? How did I? Oh. There's not a whole lot to say other than, you know, Farmington, Prairie Grove, West Fork, and Elkins need to be watching out for those, 70-mile-per-hour winds. And also some ping pong ball sized hail now that just got upgraded. And thank you, JBL, for subscribing. Thank you so much. Choctaw? Sure. Hey. Sorry, I'm trying to get my Chaz cam to work. But it does not seem to want to cooperate. It is not working. Sorry about that. He's here, but it ain't working. New MCD. Yeah, there should be a new MCD out. Let me see if they posted it. Yeah. And the new MCD is going to be for like the Texas region. Oh, this is like over near DFW. Some hail and some wind could be possible over there near the DFW area. Should be, you know, below significant capabilities. Let's go check that out real quick. Yeah, we do have some thunderstorms bubbling up just to the west of Fort Worth and Dallas. They're not going to be much of a tornado threat really at all, but definitely some hail and some damaging winds could eventually come into the DFW area. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, back over here, still not really seeing much improvement of our environment yet. Still very outflowy and windy. That's about it. Definitely be indoors and away from windows as a stronger storm is approaching the Prairie Grove area. Come check back in with our storm chasers.
Well, these positive tilted troughs, sometimes this is what happens, you know?
Right.
Yeah. This is what you want to hear, folks. Storm chasers losing faith.
Now on your side of the car. It's very
Elm Springs.
Very bumpy.
Elm Springs is in a tornado watch, but this storm should go to your south, but some heavier rain could come in within the hour.
My turn is in like 2 or 3.
Yeah, because you're gonna head south and then you're gonna go back east again.
You still want me to kind of hedge towards Fort Smith? I mean, dude, if we can get a supercell down there later, like, there's plenty of SRH. I mean, it's not as good as up here, but there's enough shear to get it done, given that there's like 4,000 K. So it's like,
How do we get back up here though?
back up here,
Yeah.
49.
So we still have to go all the way down to
If
Fort.
we
would
get
have
to
go
Fort Smith, yeah, if we get to Fort Smith, we can just fly back up here on 49, you know, and go 80. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out what the heck to do. They're talking about going down to Fort Smith. We could check down in that environment. So they're talking about for Elm Springs, probably not. That boundary is well to your south now. Unless we get some more storms to develop back over here, which is still technically a possibility. It's just not going to be as much of a tornadic environment. It'd be a lot lower of a tornado chance. But what our storm chasers are talking about are these storms trying to develop back over here near Salisal. If we come over here to our meso analysis, we were talking about SRH. That is, you know, it measures just how much the winds are turning with height. And as you can see, there's a lot of it up here. Where those storms are down there, it's about 100 SRH, which is, you know, it'll be hard to get a tornado in that environment. It's just not a very favorable environment. It's still technically possible. I mean, there's a lot of instability in that area. But again, our most favorable tornadic environment is up where those storms, like if you look under me, are with these storms over there near Fayetteville. But again, those are north of the boundary, meaning that they are going to struggle potentially all night. And yeah, our lower level shear is starting to pick up, but again, north of our storms. So I'm not going to say it yet, but one thing is for sure, the storms are not performing as the model said. You have to admit you are a severe weather junkie. Well, admitting is the first step. Looks like Jacob's in some dicey conditions here. Let's listen in. And thank you, John, for subscribing. Thank you so much. Welcome to the channel. You admit you're not a weather junkie? Honestly, when I'm not streaming or making a video, I'm not looking at the weather too much. I'll probably check models like only like 5 times a day. Like compared to some weather junkies, I'm probably on like the lower end of the spectrum. I definitely do not obsess about it. The main thing I obsess about is keeping you guys safe.
I'm ready to get through.
But like, am I gonna look up like every single tornado that's ever happened in history, and look at models all day, every day? Probably not. 5 times a day is still a lot. I mean, there's people that'll literally watch models and post about weather like every second of the day. So although I am a junkie, you know, it's not as bad as other people. I'm not as addicted as other people, you know. I haven't been I don't need rehab. I don't need rehab, guys. Come on. Flooding, yeah, let's go over the flash flood warnings. Let me see. Yeah, flash flood warnings, we have, you know, they should be calming down a little bit up here. But, you know, this flash flood warning is radar indicated near West Fork and Prairie Grove. And, you know, it could get pretty bad there if the flash flooding continues to increase. So I would definitely be, you know, flood aware out here as well as being aware of the potential for these 70-mile-per-hour winds and the potential for some ping pong ball sized hail out of this storm. Can I go a day without weather? Yes. Without looking at, like, what do you mean by that? Like a day without it happening, or like a day without looking at like models? Because I check models every morning as soon as I wake up. Gets the shakes. It's funny when I talk to my friends about you know, not going live in a while and being worried about my finances. Their first question is like, do you want the storms to happen? It's like, no. You know, I guess I'd be fine with, like, if I go broke and homeless, I mean, that's a good thing. But like at the same time, y'all gotta keep me going, man. Like I think if I had like $5 in my account, I'd probably post a post like, hey guys, listen, let me tell you how this works. You either keep me alive or I don't go live. But I'm good. I saved a lot of money. So I'm not like dying yet, but it is a little scary. Is the Austin area fine for tomorrow? I mean, I think there's gonna be severe weather down there. I can get you the latest model run for that area. I don't think it's gonna be crazy. Probably very hit or miss. Yeah, maybe some wind and rain. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know if I would be able to ask you guys for help if I was like on that line. I might just get a job and I got like another job. Any news for Paragold? Not really. You guys do have some thunderstorms nearby, but it's nothing like crazy. It's gonna start getting rainy out over there. In fact, we actually have a line of thunderstorms, really, from Jonesboro all the way up into Cape Girardeau and Paducah. That's going to be eventually moving into Kentucky and into Tennessee. tornadic activity there, probably not gonna happen. But some damaging winds can't be ruled out. Weather won't stop. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily great news for the people, you know. It's like, it's a weird thing. Like, I'm sure there's some folks out there that like genuinely wish for severe weather, but you know, I'm totally okay with it not happening. Like hurricanes, like this, you know, August, September has been amazing. It's been really quiet for a lot of folks, you know. Not having to worry about weather is a good thing. You know, not having big weather events or, you know, deadly hurricanes is a good thing. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but from the direct deaths from a hurricane are actually a lot lower than the indirect deaths. Like a hurricane can end up killing like over the course of a year or two after it happens, just due to like the economic factors and even like the increase of stress, depending on how old you are, it can actually kill upwards to like 5,000 people indirectly. Like that basically means that the hurricane never happened, those 5,000 people would have lived longer and probably wouldn't have died. And thank you, Melissa, for the $20 donation. Thank you so much. And Mary for the 15 months of being a member. A little bit so I don't die. I told you I'm not there yet. We're still okay. All right, latest scan here. Still a pretty hefty outflow boundary to the south of these storms. These storms are not gonna be tornadic. I mean, I guess you could still make the argument for a brief NATO, but the strong tornado threat, I can tell you right now, ain't gonna happen with these guys until they surge. But this is great news. This is what we theorized about an hour ago, that all this clustering would cause outflow to surge even further south, and that's exactly what has happened. We'd love to see it. But yeah, it's gonna have to be these storms near Fort Smith now. It's amazing, but it's also dangerous. I like seeing it in my area. But I'm not a fan of like tornadoes in my area. You know, if it's like a little bit of hail or some damaging winds, I know that freaks some people out, but I love it. So, any predictions for Weatherford? Where's Weatherford again? Oh, right there. Yeah, I mean, you guys could get some severe weather, potentially some large hail and some damaging winds as these storms develop and move off to the east. Quite a few storms starting to fire over here near Ardmore and Tishomingo. Mainly a hail and damaging wind threat there as well. I hate the hail. Yeah, big hail is like a pretty big problem. It's like hail is like something. Like, for instance, here's a great example of what an indirect death is, just in case you guys didn't understand my statement from earlier. So like, let's say you are like 70 years old and you already have heart problems, but you probably still, like, if you had hindsight 2020, probably would still live like 5 to 10 more years, right? Well, let's say like even a hailstorm can probably have a decent amount of direct or indirect deaths. And like, say your car gets damaged, your house gets damaged, and going through the stress of dealing with the insurance company because that happened, you know, you have a heart attack. A great example of an indirect death from a hailstorm. Same thing can happen, you know, with hurricanes. When will the main time be for tornadoes? It was supposed to be when these storms fired. You know, we were watching for these storms to fire near the boundary, but they clustered up and shot that cold air down. So I don't know. I don't even know if there's still a time frame. I can't look super far into the future. I've seen this happen before, and what usually happens is we are either going to get like a brief tornado or two, or we're just not going to see anything. There's still technically a possibility that we get a cold pool surge up here, which is one of the things that I'm keeping an eye on. I haven't seen any evidence for that yet, but we could get a lot of cold air here, and sometimes that surges to the south, and if that pushes into the outflow boundary, that might be our only condition, at least for these storms up here to the north, to try to produce a strong tornado. That would still probably be on the briefer side of things. My stream is freezing every 3 seconds. Is it? Is that happening for anybody else? I seriously doubt it. So that might be maybe you got to refresh the stream, or you've got to just get better Wi-Fi. Stream is kind of choppy. Really? Didn't be. Yeah, just try refreshing. Looks like YouTube might be having some issues. Looks like Tornado Pagey is live. I'll put her here. Oh, you're on a cell tower? Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you're, my Wi-Fi is like crazy fast and my computer is crazy fast, so there should never be any interruptions in the stream. If there is, it's usually a YouTube thing that we have no control over. Look at this, a little severe thunderstorm warning back over here near Lexington, Tennessee, near Decaturville. Gonna be heading towards Decaturville. If you guys live in this area, make sure you're indoors and away from windows. We even got a tornado possible tag on it with a little area of rotation here near Regan. Don't ask me. Let me go check out some cameras. Do have 2 cameras near this. See if we can see anything back in there. I think I have. I have something set up for this. Do I not anymore? I guess I don't. Ezzy, why are you whining? You gonna come up here? You just want love. You feeling lonely, Chazzy? Chazzy's feeling lonely. That's where you're at in Lexington, Tennessee? Yeah, you guys got some thunderstorms over there. A little cluster. Not really sure what's going on over here. Let me check the mesoscale out there. See if I see any hints that maybe a tornado could actually be possible. There's a little bit, 100 SRH, not the most favorable. A lot of instability. A lot of backed winds in this area. Maybe it's like a vorticity type thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of vorticity around these storms and a little bit of 3 Cape. So, you know, you could get like a brief NATO over there. Technically, it's theoretically possible. It's not likely by any chance, but it's theoretically possible. Is today a bust? I don't think it's time to say that yet. We still have these storms over here near Vienne and Salisal, but so these could still mature and then latch onto this boundary, and then we could get a strong tornado out of that. It really just depends on what these storms do down here. These ones up here, unless we have a cold pool surge out of them, we're not going to see a strong tornado up here, or maybe even not a tornado at all, as that outflow boundary is surged out of the south. So It's definitely looking like not as forecasted. Got some boomers here in Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, Lauren. Hello, hello. Hey, Chazzy. You want to say hi to the stream, Chazzy? Come on. You want to say something? There's a storm over there. Oh, wait. We can do the voice. Where is it? I wonder if I could, like, have him up here. And then hide my face somehow. What did I do? Myself. Are you tired of being up here? Okay, you're right. What would I be looking for? Just a strong increase of wind. So like these greens turning like blue, and like a dark blue would definitely indicate a cold pool surge. And if that surges towards the outflow boundary, then we could see tornadic activity really increase. But I'm not seeing any evidence of that right now. So if these storms can't mature before that outflow boundary undercuts them, our strong tornado threat's going to go down to almost zero. I'm just waiting for that to happen. If that happens and I don't see any evidence of anything else, that might just be it. I think we still got like an hour or two before we can like officially state that. Let's see what our storm chasers are talking about. They're definitely chatting about something. Hey, thank you, Dr. Gratz, for the $50 donation. Holy moly.
Thank you so much. That's a huge amount of money. Yippee! But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're on the walkie. I just didn't announce it to everyone that we're going this far, so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So
You gotta be tactical.
we're on like the worst road.
All right, that's fine. I'll be on the. We're on the walkie, so I'll just talk to you guys later.
Okay, man. I appreciate you guys.
All right,
See you,
bye.
man.
Okay, I think I found the source
The source of what?
of the stench. I found it.
Wait, what?
I found it.
What was it?
I'm not gonna open it right now. My glove box.
There's a stench.
That's why
What's
it
in?
smells worse on that side.
It's on my glove box.
What's in the glove
I opened it
box?
for a second. I was like, I found like what looked like some kind of home, right there.
How does that happen, dude?
Yep, I knew it.
How does that happen?
What's in his glove box?
Damn.
Wait, did that happen when your car was just parked at Freddy's? Something got in here and just how did they get in here?
That's why I'm lost. I don't know how they got. I don't know how. I must have clawed in from underneath.
An animal?
Taking a while to get going, but it's already like got a minute.
In the glove box?
Yeah, that gives me hope.
West to south.
That's on the interstate. That's the southern cells that we were watching.
On 40.
I mean, it is Arkansas. That does happen in the South.
It's just not gonna go. It's just not deep enough convection, you know? Like,
It's gonna hit the boundary, so it might do something maybe funny
later,
when it hits the boundary.
only if the boundary's stalled. If the boundary's moving, it's just gonna die. Or become one with the big blob. You know?
A good point.
Yeah, I'm scared to look in there. My passport's in there.
Oh, dude, that smells terrible.
If they look,
Get some like napkins or gloves and just.
if they look at it, hopefully they don't show it on stream. I don't really want to see a dead animal.
I didn't know that this was.
Yeah, we have breaking news, folks. The most interesting thing that's happened today has happened. Apparently a dead animal climbed into their glove box and it died. And now they're smelling something dead in the car. Should we call the cops? I'm just kidding. What they really got in that glove box, though? I'm just kidding. Ay. That would be an event. Yeah, that would certainly be an event. So yeah, they were talking about this storm near Salisaw and how they're not really confident in the amount of convection that it has, but we have seen storms south of the boundary. They do mature as they get closer. So maybe it tries to mature as it gets closer, but if it continues moving north and this boundary is still moving fast, it'll pass that boundary really quickly. So unless it's just a fully mature cell, you know, it's probably not going to do anything. So we'll see. But this is literally, I think, our last chance here for like tornadic activity. Yeah, apparently the storm threat for today climbed into their glove box and died. Tornado in Fort Smith? No tornado in Fort Smith. People are just talking about going there for this storm here. It's not just Storm Hunter Media that's complaining, folks. Another one of our storm chasers, Jacob, is also talking about how this has been the best chase I have ever been on. Images not coming later or at all. Where's the crying emoji? There it is. Oof. That's a good sign. Interestingly enough, though, the AI NATO cast is still bullish on at least a 5% tornado risk. But it might not be up to date. New severe thunderstorm warning. They have downgraded this to 60-mile-per-hour winds, $1.5 sized hail, and that is going to be for Winslow, Arkansas, Combs, Brashear, St. Paul, Dutton, Pettigrew, Boston, Red Star, Venus, Witter, Reynolds, Weathers, Loy, Wharton, Kingston, and Purdy. All need to be indoors and away from windows as the storm is approaching. Early morning, Tyler, but it's probably not going to be much. Yes, storms are definitely not. Storms are definitely not reaching expectations whatsoever. These were supposed to be the storms of the day. And we should have already had a couple of strong tornadoes today if it were to have happened like our models were saying. But that doesn't mean that the event is over yet. Still could have these storms try to fire, or we could still have a cold pool surge. But yeah. If neither of those two happen, then yeah, you can go ahead and pretty much put a pin in today. Peak around 6? No, that's the storms fired earlier than the models were saying. We were saying this at the beginning of today, that like or at least I was expecting that the storms would fire a little bit earlier, and they have, and they fired a little bit earlier and also just clustered up immediately. You know, for a day like today, you need more isolated supercells closer to this boundary, and you can see this little thin green line is further south from our storms, and you can see that they're kind of moving in the direction of the boundary and not down towards the boundary. So the colder air is surging to the south quite quickly here, which will cut off pretty much any approaching cell's chances of developing. But there is still a small chance that this one tries to get its act together right before that boundary gets there. So that's kind of what we're watching for. But yeah, everywhere else, it's just kind of a big old cold blob mess. Not really seeing much evidence of really much tornadic activity anywhere else right now. Yeah, one time I ran over a dead skunk, and that was like the worst thing that's ever happened to my car. It stunk like skunk for like a week. Traumatized. Why did they extend the tornado threat eastward? They didn't. I mean, this was issued at the beginning of the event. It was worse for the skunk. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, definitely was worse for the skunk. Like they did issue a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm near Clinton and Fairfield Bay. It's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds here in Arkansas. Oh my gosh, Dylan. Oh my goodness. Can't believe that. I thought every single person in my chat was somebody that, you know, innocent. But I guess not. It's okay. Been a long time. Do I remember you? Yes, I do. That is true, Dylan. That is true. But you kind of did just narc on yourself. Bro would be like, snitches get stitches, and have to like punch himself in the face. How do I feel about the Space Command coming to Bandama? I mean, it means more jobs. So I think the location of it is somewhat relevant. You know, Huntsville is the epitome of engineers. There are so many engineers that live in Huntsville, so it's a great fit. A lot of people out there with what's it called, missile defense experience, which a lot of that for some of our missiles do go into space. Also, we have you know, NASA, I think, stationed in Huntsville as well, parts of NASA. So yeah, I mean, we got the experience. It's a great place for a space place to be. And more jobs. A lot of gang members in Bama. I don't think there's that many. Yeah, this storm over here near Salisaw is running out of time, and it is rocketing up to the north. You see, as soon as this little puff of clouds hit the boundary, its convection increased, but that's too late. Fast growing city it is. It's a beautiful city. I hate that it's growing so fast, though. It is a nice city where there's minimal traffic right now. Check back down here in Fort Worth. How's things going over here? Yeah, still some thunderstorms trying to develop. They will eventually move into the Fort Worth, Dallas area with some severe weather potential. Come check back over here on this Tennessee storm. So they took the tornado possible tag off of it, but still 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds possible for Parsons and Decaturville. Line of storms about to move in through Dyersburg, Union City, and South Fulton. Thunderstorms over here near Kentucky. Some rain and showers pushing into Illinois near Effingham and Mount Vernon. A couple of thunderstorms back over here starting to develop near Lancaster, in Philadelphia. Also near Red Lion and Shrewsbury. Check Arkansas? No. I will not check Arkansas. Maybe we can avoid mentioning Potal today. Why? What's going on there? What's the latest on the tropics? We can check. Let's check the latest models. Tropical tidbits. This is Gabrielle. Looking mean still. Thank you, Caleb, for the 199. Thank you so much. How does Salina, Texas look tonight and overnight? We'll check that out for you real quick. Where is Salina? Looks like your storms should form with these ones that are going to be coming into the Dallas area sometime at around like 9 to 10 p.m. So some severe weather will be possible. Pretty small chance though for tornadoes, so wouldn't be worried about that. Here's Gabrielle. It's a fish storm. See you later. We'll come over to our forecast models. I don't know how this will look here. Hopefully you can fit it in. We'll go look at the North Atlantic. Latest GFS run. I think the GFS is starting to drop this storm back over here, developing. Still have a low pressure system that develops out over here, but we do have a little bit of a trough, which is actually the storm that we're dealing with right now in Arkansas. Should eventually kind of scoot off to the north and east, and that on the bottom edge of the trough should see another low pressure kind of develop, and that should scoop up our low pressure system, and that could be a fish storm there. Which is great news. I'll check the Euro, see what it's saying. Yeah, the Euro still wants to develop our storm. Over there near the Dominican Republic, goes to the Bahamas. Jeez. That is a wild model run. Look at that. 2 major hurricanes right next to each other. That just doesn't seem very realistic to me. And that'd be such a close approach too. You see how that's changed run to run. Yeah, the last run, it didn't even have that. So I don't know how accurate that is. It seems kind of unrealistic to me. Let me look at the environment here. Because usually when these things strengthen like that, they create a decent shear environment. I mean, yeah, there's like no shear in that area. I mean, I guess it's not the craziest thing. Yeah, I don't. Let me check the other model runs. I mean, the CMC model has a similar thing, which is crazy. What about the AI model? The AI model also has a similar thing. That is interesting. That's new. Still pretty far out though, so it'll probably shift around and change. I don't think I'm ready to lock in that solution yet. All right, storms are approaching our boundary. Storm near Salisal is trying to mature, or it hits the boundary, but it's getting closer and closer. Jonesboro, Arkansas rotation. Wow, there is a little bit in there. No debris, but there is some rotation north of Jonesboro. Not sure how legitimate that is. Let me check from a different radar. Seems legitimate to me. What's going on over here? A little bit of vorticity in 3 Cape. There's like no SRH. It's mainly just vorticity in 3 Cape. I wonder if we're getting some contamination in this storm, or we could have a little brief spin up trying to happen over here near Bucksnort. I mean, it's associated with Reflectivity doesn't make sense. And why that would become tornadic. There's like it looks like there might be a little bit of a boundary here. Maybe that's what's helping this storm out. Maybe it's like latched onto that boundary. Maybe a little increased area of SRH that our models are missing. Tis odd. I would keep an eye on this storm over there near Brooklyn. Let me see if we can get a camera in that area. Get eyes on that storm. It won't let me zoom out anymore. Giving me claustrophobia. Where the heck is Jonesboro? I feel like right here. There it is. Definitely some interesting views out of the Jonesboro area. One's looking north. That might be it. It is a suspicious area, I will admit. I can't explain it other than that outflow boundary. It shouldn't produce, but there's a little area of rotation there. Not very strong, but there is one. Land spout hybrid stuff? Maybe. I mean, this is looking north at that storm. So that little area of rotation would be literally back where we're looking. Thank you, Christy, or Crystal, for subscribing. No, our parameters aren't really further south. That's not how this works in this kind of environment. Our little shortwave is on the northern side of Arkansas, so that's where our best SRH is going to be. Now, latest scan on radar, there still is a little bit of rotation on this storm. Not seeing anything back in there, but that would be technically looking at our storm there. If I can get another perspective. We'll keep an eye on it here on the camera for a little bit, just to make sure. Thunder is off the chain. Ow. Yeah, there are definitely some decently strong thunderstorms. I wouldn't be surprised if there was even maybe some small hail on some of these guys, like especially near like Cache. Much weaker on the latest scan. Oh, it did. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting storm. It did get weaker. So yeah, I mean, I keep an eye on it. There's definitely some weird shenanigans happening over here, and I think it has to do with this little boundary that's sitting here. A little bit of vorticity in this area as well, and some 3 Cape. So maybe couldn't completely rule out like a brief tornado here. But yeah, interesting. We'll keep coming back over there and checking in on that. Back over here in our main severe weather threat, our storms are continuing to kind of train over the same areas, and that outflow boundary is continuing to push down to the south here. Next in line is going to be like Dutton, Boston, Red Star, and Weathers here in Arkansas. And back over here with our storm over near Clinton, 60-mile-per-hour winds are pushing down to the south and east towards Clinton, Fairfield Bay, and Greer's Ferry Lake. All right, we'll do a broad scale view for a little bit. There's Chazzy Wanton. He's barking out the window. We maybe try to get a view on this storm near Clinton. Maybe that's what we should be doing, is just looking at storms via our traffic cameras, because there's so many. There's a camera in Clinton. Maybe we'll see shelf cloud. So might be some things to see near like Ozark. What about our outflow dominant storm? Yeah, heavy rain on these cameras. Trying to find a northbound camera. Oh, there's one. New severe thunderstorm warning for Muldrow, Cedarville, Rudy, Alma, Dyer, and Mountainburg here in Arkansas and Oklahoma. That's going to be for that storm that is going to be merging with our outflow boundary here shortly. Still looking pretty unimpressive on radar, but we got an approaching storm here on this camera. Maybe a little bit of shelf cloud developing there. Jazzy boy, we showed him off just a little while ago. This is like the only traffic cam view that we got. You weren't here to see him. You can go back in time. Any severe weather? There is a severe thunderstorm watch near Texarkana, but that's about it right now. No storms nearby, you guys. That's not going to be until later on tonight. Really? Jonesboro really getting it out here, huh? Yeah, it's pretty heavy rain coming through. I lost a thunder. I'm struggling to be able to justify a tornado threat. I'm still looking for something, but I'm still not seeing anything. Oh yeah, there is a little shelf cloud back in there. Look at that. This is our outflow boundary on this storm. This camera is located in Mountainburg, looking up to the north. Paragold. Yeah, you guys got some rain and showers near you. You can maybe try to look. If there's any cameras near Paragold. There are not. Yeah, Paragold's just got some heavy rain. We're not expecting anything serious for Paragold. This back over here should be our main area, but again, we're dealing with some problems with these severe thunderstorms right now. They are just not wanting to latch onto that boundary, which is what we want to see. And there's an interesting storm like back over here. It's just not mature. Oh yeah, look at that storm. Definitely looks menacing. Yeah, if Chazzy comes back in and if he wants to come up, I'll show him off again for you, Jess. You've been on that bridge? Nice. Can anybody see their house from this camera? Sky is super dark. Yeah, I'm sure that's a theme a lot of places right now. New severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma. See where that is. Oh, that's this guy. Over here near Centrahoma and Tupelo. They're just south and east of Ada. It's for $half size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds heading towards Tupelo and Centrahoma. Make sure our storm chasers are current. It's a Pagey tornado. They're near Springdale, Arkansas, so they're just north of those storms that are sinking down to the south here. And this is Storm Runner Media, who is near... Did they give up? They might have given up. Well, they might be traveling back to target these storms near Tulsa. Could be a small tornado threat over there. A little bit of vorticity in 3K back here. Can't completely rule it out. See what's going on over here. Got a storm hitting our boundary right now. That's going to pass over that pretty quickly. Storm over here north of Muldrow looks pretty interesting. We've got a lot of little thunderstorms firing over here south of that boundary. Check back over in our shelf cloud. Oh yeah, look at that. Centerton, let me check. Yeah, you guys are good. You could have some storms later on tonight, but I think your tornado threat's pretty much at 0 in Centerton now. Yes, that's what that means, Alyssa. It means it hasn't been observed on the ground yet, but the radar is saying, yeah, Paragold's safe. Just some rain for you guys. That would be concerning, Saga. Where's the storm at? Yeah, we'll go back over to the main screen here. So our storms at the moment are mainly over here, like our strongest storms at least, are mainly over here in northeastern Arkansas. None of them are looking particularly tornadic at the moment. Got an outflow boundary extending out like this. Piers, we got storms nearby, but none of them are latching onto it. They're all staying north of it for now. So we're still trying to figure out what the heck these storms are going to do. They're definitely underperforming in comparison to what our models had said that they would be doing at this point. So, you know, sometimes it's just the way it goes. I think our outflow boundary is almost sunken to the south of the... No, we're still... Look at a while before we're out of that strong tornado threat. Jonesboro safe for tonight? Yeah, y'all will be all right. There is still some chances for some severe weather near Jonesboro. A lot of rain, maybe even some flooding could be possible. So I would keep an eye on the flooding, but I'm not seeing anything that's like concerning me over there. Please do Antarctica. I don't even think we got any satellites in Antarctica. Can't even... Oh, there it is. All we can do is look at it and do like this. Why is a hole up here? Conspiracy theory? Just kidding. They're manipulating the maps. Raining buckets here? Oh, man. Yeah, still some pretty heavy rain over there near Brooklyn. And then Jonesboro is probably about to get maybe another round of some heavy rain and thunder. Oops. Dang, Pagey Tornadoes stream is looking crisp. Y'all think their stream looks better than the last time we used them? Check Tennessee again? Sure. Yeah, Tennessee's got some storms back over here coming into Martin and Dyersburg now. Some thunder and lightning is on its way. And then back over here near Parsons, this severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire, but a cluster of rain and thunderstorms are about to move close to Centerville, Camden, and Hohenwald. Hey, this is looking like a mess. Oh, wow. 70-mile-per-hour winds. What storm is that for? Oh, wow. 70-mile-per-hour wind warning here for Ozark and Altus. Check this out. And the surge is down to the south. Can't really see it too well on radar. They're saying it's radar indicated. I guess we can get a camera out in front of that. We get lucky. Let's see how this looks now. Oh, wow. All right, let me see if we can get lucky. It'd be like, where's Ozark? There's a camera in Ozark. Doesn't appear to be working, unfortunately. There's this camera as well. We'll come back and check in on it. 70-mile-per-hour winds will be enough to potentially knock out power. So that's the reason why you guys need to be caring about that. If you got like weak or diseased trees nearby, I would definitely be on the lowest floor of your house, in the most interior room of your house as well. Also, this storm pushing through Clinton and Fairfield Bay has some 60-mile-per-hour winds on it. Make sure you guys are watching out for that as well. Also, will be fine. Well, there are some storms developing near Tulsa. You could get some severe weather there. And you could make an argument that a tornado threat may develop out of these guys, but it's a really low chance. And storms near Fort Worth and Dallas are still popping up here. Slowly moving off to the east. And some hail and some damaging winds could be possible with this cluster of storms as it pushes near or into the Fort Worth area. Heavy thunder in Stigler, Oklahoma. Where's Stigler again? Isn't that, yeah, it's over here. And you guys do have a thunderstorm nearby, you guys. You are in a tornado watch, but these storms have been pretty lackluster in their tornadic activity. Thankfully, so far. And we still have a wide open warm sector out near Boonville, Patow. What's going on over here? Are they frozen? I don't know why. I swear that only happens to their stream. I don't know why. I still don't know where Stormrunner Media is going. Let me try to listen in. Hear what their plan is.
So I don't think we're 30 minutes away from Briar Creek. Do you think that that's the right spot, or do you think we should adjust here?
I'm getting on the radar to see.
Oh yeah, they are targeting. So Stormrunner Media is going to go target the storms near Tulsa. And that storm near Stigler just got severe thunderstorm warned with 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Probably going to be heading towards Salisal, Muldrow. Should head away from Stigler.
I got a couple boxes in the back.
And Tennessee should not be worried. The storms are
I know, I have to shout the
are
fireworks.
pretty
Chat.
weak.
Can you guys believe
Dude, I think we should go to Canada and do it.
oh yeah, right. I'm gonna drive all the way up to Canada.
And see if they let us come back next time.
Dang. They are so down bad. They are considering driving up to Canada. Pagey's got an interesting view here. They're in Fayetteville. So they're looking at the storms that are outflow dominant from behind.
So I have to ask, how is the stream holding up with quality today? Seems like it's running a lot smoother, more smooth. You know what I meant. Let me know in the chat.
I want to see what our chat was saying.
Really tried hard to tweak some things.
Yes, we did. Chat's not working for me.
Evan and Riley really helped us out a lot, so.
Yeah, we did. Me and Riley teamed up for the first time in history to make Tornado Pagey's stream look great again.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela.
Nice.
Brandon says it seems very smooth. Awesome.
Stream has been great. Nice. Success. Yeah, I noticed that there was some quality issues the last time they went live, and I'm been working really hard to try to get them on the level of other streamers, because man, do they deserve, you know, to be on that level in terms of their quality. Figured out a lot of little things that we were able to get changed that did make a difference. So Arkansas is getting smacked. They are. There's an amount of severe weather out there. Tons of 60-mile-per-hour wind warnings on these storms. So nothing like super duper concerning. We do have the storm going through Clinton. Let's go see what it looks like. At least in terms of what's inside of the storm. Should be able to see it. This storm just got 60-mile-per-hour wind warning on it. that pushes off to the east towards Greer's Ferry, Fairfield Bay, and Heber Springs. What the storm looks like in Clinton right now. I don't think we're in the worst of it yet. Doesn't look too threatening. We'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, that storm we were watching that was trying to organize before it got to the outflow boundary did not do so, and it's about to slam into that outflow boundary. Little Rock, Arkansas looked like it could be. You're saying it looks like a tornado? Looks more like a calf. Like when I look at Arkansas, I see Louisiana looking like a foot, and then Arkansas would be like the calf. I guess Missouri would be the thigh. Illinois would be the. Never mind. Sorry. Someone in chat just said they could never unsee that. Uh-oh. Sorry. Yeah, the gut, the stomach. That's what it'd be. I should be banned. Not gonna lie, guys, it's still looking messy. Just, I'm trying to make an argument for me to continue to be live, but it's difficult. New flash flood warning for Crawford County, Franklin County, Sebastian County, Adair County, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Radar indicated flooding. Breaking news is it is officially hit 5 o'clock. So when somebody says it's 5 o'clock somewhere, 5 o'clock here. Come back if it gets bad and feed Chaz. I might do that. These storms down here are looking pretty interesting. Any environment down there capable of tornadoes? Not really. What's our wind shear doing? Severe thunderstorm warning near Conway County, Johnsons County, Pope County, Van Buren County, Arkansas. That is going to be considerable. 1.75 inch hail. That would be golf ball sized hail. For this storm over here near Hector, East Fort Wilderness. You guys live in this area, watch out. This flashing area is probably where that hail is. So if you live in Hector, make sure you are indoors and well away from those windows. That hail can cause some damage to windows. our winter weather look like for this year? I have no idea. Nobody knows. Could be snowy, might not be. Little Arkansas getting smacked by heavy rain and severe storms for right now. Not right now, but later on tonight, when these storms continue to push down to the south, there will be a damaging wind threat. All right, folks. I think I am, yeah, I guess we're just gonna go into break mode, and something starts to get a little bit more dangerous, I'll come back on live. But yeah. Still won't call it a bust. But if I don't have to come back live by like 8 o'clock, it just might be a bust. Long, Oklahoma. Really not looking that interesting. Very broad circulation there. Not very organized. Yeah, we'll come back. You know, if there's like a tornado warning, I'll come back on live. I think that's the plan. Plan for now. And yeah, hopefully you guys don't have to see me again today. Oh, wow. All right. See you guys then. Hopefully not. Huge shout out to the mods. We're going to raid Tornado Pagey. So she's going to be babysitting you guys. So hold on. Don't leave. If you leave, I'll never forgive you. I will never forgive you. Huge shout out to the mods, Tornado Explorer, Help, and Blondie for helping out in the chat as always. And yeah, we'll see if I have to come back on live or not. Peace.